Chapter 13:13. Zhao Yuner was afraid that the donkey cart would be too bumpy, so she warned Xiao Mao. Xiao Mao, don't be anxious. Let's take it slow. However, Xiao Mao acted as if it didn't understand Zhao Yuner's words. It continued to run with all its might, but it wanted to show off its uniqueness in front of the emperor. If Zhao Yuner knew what Xiao Mao was thinking, she would probably be angered half to death by Xiao Mao. Zhao Yuner's donkey cart didn't have a soft mattress, so her buttocks had to sit on the hard cart. After a bumpy day, it hurt a lot. Zhao Yuner herself couldn't stand it, let alone the emperor, who lived like a prince. Presumably, he hadn't been treated like this for so many years. She looked at the emperor with some embarrassment and said, "Young Master Huang, I don't know if you're feeling too uncomfortable. Why don't you get down first and wait for your carriage behind?" The emperor frowned slightly. His buttocks were indeed feeling uncomfortable. But if he got down, wouldn't he lose face? Zhao Yuner, a woman, could endure such a bumpy ride. As a man, he couldn't be too delicate. So when Zhao Yuner came back, she said, "No need. Miss Yuner, I'll take your donkey cart. It's actually quite good." Without a carriage, he could enjoy the scenery of the fields. The morning breeze blew on his face, and it was very comfortable. Moreover, there was a faint smell of soil and fragrant grass in the breeze. He didn't notice it before, but now he suddenly realized that this feeling and scenery were quite good. Thinking about the high walls and courtyards in the imperial palace, how could it be as comfortable as the countryside? If it wasn't for his identity, as well as the responsibility and ambition he had to bear, he felt that an ordinary life would be quite good. If he married a wife as virtuous and sensible as Zhao Yuner, his family would probably be able to live a peaceful and beautiful life. Unfortunately, these were just his own thoughts, and couldn't be realized. Zhao Yuner responded hypocritically, but there was still some worry in her eyes when she looked at the emperor. She was afraid that by the time they arrived at the county magistrate's manor, the emperor's buttocks had already bloomed. The two people chatted casually on the road. The emperor was very curious about everything about Zhao Yuner. He asked some questions with a hint of probing. The more he knew about Zhao Yuner, the more he felt that this woman was not simple. She was not like a normal country woman at all. If she hadn't inquired about Zhao Yuner in the village, it was inevitable that she would have some doubts about her identity. After a long journey, they finally arrived at the county magistrate's residence. The emperor prepared to get down from Zhao Yuner's donkey cart, but sadly found that but seemed to be unable to move. If he moved, it would hurt terribly. "Young Master Huang, what's wrong?" Zhao Yuner asked worriedly. The emperor looked at Zhao Yuner awkwardly. What could he say? He couldn't possibly tell Zhao Yuner that his butt hurt, right? He couldn't help but blush. In all these years, he had never done something so embarrassing and shameful. If this spread out and was known by others, where would he put his face? Zhao Yuner saw that there was something wrong with the emperor's expression, so she almost guessed what was going on. "Young Master Huang, do you want me to help you? Or you can sit down and rest for a while." I'll rest for a while." "Okay, then I'll wait outside with you. We'll go in together later." Zhao Yuner went back to the donkey cart. Chapter 13:14. Zhao Yuner looked at the emperor in confusion. Wouldn't it be better for him to accompany him? Otherwise, wouldn't it be awkward for him to sit outside alone? Would it be strange? "Miss Yuner, I can do it alone," young Master Huang insisted. Zhao Yuner had no choice but to agree. "All right then, I'll go in alone. I'll come out in a while." She didn't want to stay in the deputy's house for long. She had to go back quickly and continue to pick tea leaves. Okay. After seeing Zhao Yuner's body enter the county magistrate mansion, the emperor hurriedly stood up and rubbed his painful buttocks. He suddenly felt the pain dissipate a little. Sometimes, people shouldn't court death, or they would be the one to suffer. Zhao Yuner gave the tea leaves she brought to the deputy. She would try her best to send the rest. As for the money, the delivery person had already given it to the deputy, and the deputy directly gave it to Zhao Yuner. With more than 10 taels of silver, Zhao Yuner couldn't help but feel excited. It was much easier than the money she earned from the morning tea stall. He thought that once he filled the barren hills with tea trees and obtained more tea leaves, he would be able to earn even more money. After saying that she had something to do, The deputy's wife didn't ask Zhao Yun'er to stay. She let Zhao Yun'er go back. After leaving the deputy's house, Zhao Yun'er saw that the emperor had gotten out of the carriage. He was standing beside her Xiaomao and muttering something. She didn't know what he was saying to Xiaomao. Seeing Zhao Yun'er coming over, the emperor quickly shut up. Young Master Huang, are you feeling better? Much better. I'm fine now. Well, you can go in. I'll go back first. Okay. The emperor withdrew his sight from Zhao Yun'er. Don't know what he was thinking. He stood in the same place for a while, then turned and entered the county deputy manor. Zhao Yun'er hurried to the market and bought everything she needed. When they went to the market, they happened to meet Zhao Ping-er and Ma Xiaofeng. The two of them seemed to be looking for a stall and wanted to rent a stall to do business. Zhao Yun'er was puzzled. Could it be that these two sluts wanted to learn from her? The truth was similar to what Zhao Yun'er had expected. Zhao Ping-er and Ma Xiaofeng came here to do business. In the past 2 days, Zhao Ping-er had searched around Yang City and roughly confirmed a few houses. She felt that it was okay to rent them. However, Zhao Ping-er still didn't know much about these things. She felt that Ma Xiaofeng was more reliable than her. So she brought Ma Xiaofeng over to take a look. If Ma Xiaofeng said it was okay, then it was okay. Moreover, Ma Xiaofeng's ability to negotiate prices was definitely better than her. He followed Ma Xiaofeng and listened to Ma Xiaofeng's arrangements. The two of them went to a stall in the market and asked about the price. This stall was originally for someone else to do business. If it wasn't for the breakfast business, then it would have been for the breakfast business. Now that the stall wanted to be sold, it hung a sign saying for sale. Ma Xiaofeng and Zhao Ping-er went to find it because of this. Auntie, how much do you need to rent this stall a year? Ma Xiaofeng asked a woman who looked to be in her early 30s. This woman was very fat. Her body was full of fat, and she looked very fierce standing there. However, she should be from a good family. She dressed gorgeously. The cloth of her clothes was not bad, and she wore silver jewelry. In the eyes of the villagers, this was a very rich family. Chapter 13:15. She replied to Ma Xiaofeng unhappily. Auntie, who are you calling? Where's Auntie? Are you blind? She was only 27 or 28 years old, and looked a little old. What she hated the most was hearing people call her Auntie. Ma Xiaofeng looked 16 or 17 years old, but she was only 10 years older than this girl. How could it be appropriate for her to start calling her Auntie? Ma Xiaofeng was momentarily stunned. She did not understand why the fat woman was angry. Ma Xiaofeng stuttered. When she met the fat woman's fierce eyes, she did not know what to say for a moment. Little girl, next time look carefully. Don't just call everyone Auntie. It's more appropriate to call her big sister. Ma Xiaofeng rolled her eyes in her heart. Only then did she understand why the fat woman was angry. Although Ma Xiaofeng was also somewhat uncomfortable in her heart, in order to rent the stall, Ma Xiaofeng suppressed the anger in her heart. Instead, she smiled and said to the fat woman, Big sister, may I ask, how much does it cost to rent this stall a year? The fat woman's mood improved a little. She faintly replied to Ma Xiaofeng. The first year you take over the stall will be 8 taels of silver. After that it will be 1 tael of silver every year. Why? Do you want to rent it? When Ma Xiaofeng heard the fat woman's price, she felt that it was a little expensive. However, this stall's market was not bad. There were many people coming and going, so it was convenient to buy things. If she could rent it, the business would not be too bad. Ma Xiaofeng haggled with the fat woman. Big sister, I want to rent this stall. But your stall seems to be a little expensive. Can you give us a cheaper price? The fat woman glared at Ma Xiaofeng. She seemed very unhappy. Then how cheap do you want it to be? You can go to other stalls and ask around. How many stalls are in a good market that is cheaper than mine? Ma Xiaofeng twitched the corner of her mouth and replied with a smile. Big sister, it's our first time doing business. It's not easy. Why don't you give us a friendship price and make it cheaper? Ma Xiaofeng's tone was completely negotiating. The fat woman replied in a bad mood. If you don't want to rent it, then don't rent it. Hurry and get lost. How can you do business if you don't have money? Ma Xiaofeng was stunned. She did not expect the fat woman to have such a bad temper. When Zhao Pinger heard this, she wasn't happy. She started arguing with the fat woman. How can there be people like you? Business talk, business talk, business talk. Why are you scolding people? The fat woman put her hands on her waist and started to argue with Zhao Pinger. Who is scolding? Did I say I wrong? You want to rent a stall when you don't have the money? I've already lowered the price to the lowest. You're shameless enough to want to lower the price. Zhao Pinger stared at the fat woman angrily. This woman was too arrogant. How can there be people like you? Aren't we negotiating the price in a friendly manner? I'm not forcing you to lower the price. You can just not rent it. Why are you scolding people? Hee hee. The fat woman sneered. I'm scolding people. So what? You are standing in front of my stall. I can scold you. You. Zhao Pinger wanted to rush up and slap the fat woman. However, the fat woman was tall and burly. Even Zhao Pinger could not beat her. If they really fought, she would be at a disadvantage. Forget it, big sister Pinger. Let's go to other stalls and ask. Ma Xiaofeng pulled Zhao Pinger. Chapter 13:16. She nodded and said, Okay, Xiaofeng, let's rent from other stalls. There are so many stalls. It's not like she's the only one. With her attitude, it's no wonder that her stall hasn't been rented out yet. I don't think anyone will rent from her. Ma Xiaofeng also agreed. Although the price of this fat woman's stall was suitable, she wasn't a good person. Who knew if other things would happen after her stall was rented? This kind of person was rare, so it was better to deal with them. The two of them then went to the other stalls to ask for more information. Basically, the prices they offered were higher than the fat woman's stall, and some of them were not very good. After running for a while, the two of them were a little tired and took a deep breath. Zhao Pinger and Ma Xiaofeng sighed and said, Ah, Xiaofeng, it seems that doing business isn't easy. Of course, what's easy to do? Look at the men in our village. They work so hard in the fields, but they only earn so much money in a year. It's not as good as us who do business. We can earn more. Xiaofeng, you're right. As long as we can earn money, it's worth it to work hard. Yes. Sister Pinger, let's go to a few more stalls. If there's no better one, let's go and book that old woman's stall. Okay. The two of them continued to run around and settled on a stall. The rent for this stall was 5 taels of silver for the first year, and 5 taels of silver for the next year. It was considered relatively low. Moreover, the market price wasn't too bad. It was above average. Zhao Pinger and Ma Xiaofeng were quite satisfied. The two of them couldn't wait to set up their stall and earn money as soon as possible. Only when they had money in their hands would they be happiest. Moreover, these few days, the family Qin people had been urging Zhao Pinger to bring some money back. The family Qin people were used to living a hard life. When Zhao Pinger said that they could earn money, it gave the family Qin hope. The family Qin people were thinking about money and living a good life these days. As for Qin Yuan's illness, it had improved a lot during this period. Basically, it was no longer a big deal. At the end of the day, it was all because his heart had been resolved. However, Zhao Pinger felt sorry for Qin Yuan. She also wanted to earn more money to buy a lot of delicious food for Qin Yuan to nourish his body. Xiaofeng, let's go and buy some more tables and chairs. When the tables and chairs are bought, we can set up a stall to make money. Ma Xiaofeng nodded heavily and replied, Sister Pinger, we'll have a good life once we make money. Ma Xiaofeng now thought it through. If she couldn't be with Zhao Tianan, she could earn money and live a good life. She didn't have to rely on men. The more they talked, the more excited they became as they walked down the street. After Zhao Yun figured out what the two of them were doing, her eyes couldn't help but flash a trace of sharpness. These 2B* cheese are really interesting. Zhao Pinger actually wanted to imitate her and sell breakfast. She was said to be stupid, but sometimes she was very smart. She actually knew how to imitate her. Zhao Yun didn't want the B*tch to use her to make money, and her heart felt uncomfortable. However, she couldn't stop them from setting up a stall. She couldn't possibly smash the stall, right? Feeling a little uncomfortable, she went back. When she arrived at the village, it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't very late. Zhao Yun went to old Zhao's house and sent the ingredients she bought over. She was going to cook something delicious for lunch. There wasn't much meat in their meals these days, because they didn't buy meat on the streets. They just made do casually. Chapter 13:17. When Zhao Yun'er arrived at old Zhao's house, she saw a carriage parked in the courtyard of old Zhao's house. She thought that some important person had come, but she did not expect that it was Zhao Xinhui, who had come back to visit her parents. Under normal circumstances in the countryside, a daughter would visit her parents on the second or third day. However, Zhao Xinhui did not know how many days had passed since she came back. Zhao Yun'er guessed that Zhao Xinhui was too lazy to come back. After all, life in the Meng residence was much more comfortable than in old Zhao's house. When Zhao Xinhui came back, she was wearing a purplish-red silk dress. She wore all kinds of jewelry on her neck, hands and head. She looked like a nouveau riche. When Zhao Yun'er saw Zhao Xinhui's dressing, she could not help but want to complain. This Zhao Xinhui looked like a nouveau riche. People were like this. The more ordinary they were, the more they wanted to show off. Those real madams and misses did not need to dress like Zhao Xinhui. When Zhao Xinhui came back, she brought a lot of good things. Old Zhao's first branch and second branch could not help but go forward to curry favor with Zhao Xinhui, as if they wanted to get some benefits from her. Hui'er, you're finally back. Mother missed you so much. Hua Chunhua held Zhao Xinhui's hand, and could not help but mutter. What are you thinking about, mother? I've only been away for a few days. Zhao Xinhui replied indifferently. Hua Chunhua nagged. Hui'er, you're a piece of flesh that fell off from mother. Mother missed you so much even if you were away for a few days. All right, mother, let's not talk about this anymore. There's no use in missing me. Hui'er, how are you doing after marrying young Master Meng? Hua Chunhua asked with concern. She was most worried about this matter. After all, as a mother, she missed her daughter dearly. She was afraid that her daughter would be wronged after getting married. Good, of course it's good. Mother, my husband's family is rich. He eats and drinks good food every day, wears beautiful clothes, and has beautiful jewelry. Mother, look at my appearance. How can ordinary people have it? If I knew that I could have such a good life after getting married, I would have wanted to get married earlier. Zhao Xinhui was not afraid of losing face and said directly. Hua Chunhua nodded in satisfaction. It's good that you're living well. Indeed, if you were to marry a country bumpkin, how could you have a good life? In the end, it's my Hui'er's good fortune. He has received the blessings of the heavens. Of course, I've always been a lucky person. Zhao Xinhui replied with a proud smile. By the way, Hui'er, young Master Meng, don't you have other wives and concubines at home? How does your wife treat you? After all, the older ones could not tolerate the younger ones. After Zhao Xinhui married into the family, who knew if the wife of the Meng family would make things difficult for Zhao Xinhui? Speaking of this, Zhao Xinhui snorted and said, how could that old woman make things difficult for me? It's good enough that I didn't marry him. Mother, don't worry. My husband dotes on me now. He doesn't even care about those old women. He's probably tired of playing with them. Perhaps after some time, my husband will divorce them and let me become the official wife. Hua Chunhua was immediately happy when she heard this. A wife and a concubine were very different. A wife of a rich family would be respected. The villagers did not say it openly, but secretly, they were talking about Zhao Xinhui as a concubine. Hua Chunhua directly thought that these people were jealous of her family and did not take it to heart. Chapter 13:18. Hua Chunhua nodded and said with a smile. Good. Hui'er, you have to work hard and become the official wife. When the time comes, there will be many people who will be envious of our family. They will envy you. Mother, don't worry. I'm so young and beautiful. How can I lose to a few old women? They are chickens that can't lay eggs. When I give birth to a son for my husband, I will naturally become the official wife. Hua Chunhua became more and more excited. She held Zhao Xinhui's hand and said, Hui'er, then your belly must work hard. You are still young, so it will definitely be easier for you to get pregnant than them. The heavens did not allow them to have children, so they are giving you a chance to become the official wife. I think it won't be long before you get pregnant. When Zhao Xinhui heard this, she blinked and looked at Hua Chunhua with excitement. Mother, is what you said true? Of course it's true. Believe me, if you take good care of your body now, you will get pregnant very soon. Yes, yes. When Zhao Yun'er heard this, she felt that Zhao Xinhui was just a mistress. She had an ugly face. If Zhao Xinhui really became the official wife one day, her worldview would probably be refreshed again. Isn't little sister back? Li Chuiying was holding a wooden basin in her hand. She must have come back from washing clothes outside. When she saw Zhao Xinhui, her eyes immediately lit up. When she saw Zhao Xinhui dressed in jewelry, she could not help but sigh in envy in her heart. She quickly flattered, Tsk. Who would recognize you if you didn't know? Little sister feels like she has changed into a different person. After getting married, you indeed look much better when you dress up. Look at the clothes you are wearing. You look like a young lady from a wealthy family. Although Zhao Xinhui did not like Li Chuiying, people generally liked to listen to others' praise. Therefore, Li Chuiying's words were very effective on Zhao Xinhui. Second sister-in-law, sit down. Let's chat. It's not easy for me to return home. How could Li Chuiying refuse? He smiled and sat down beside Zhao Xinhui. While praising Zhao Xinhui, she also flattered Hu Chunhua. Mother, only you have the good fortune to give birth to a woman like little sister. Who in our family can be like little sister? You didn't dote on little sister for nothing in the past. Little sister should be raised well, because little sister is destined to be rich. That's right. Your little sister was different from other children when she was born. I already knew that she would be extraordinary in the future. Hu Chunhua snorted softly. Mother, that means you have good foresight. Hu Chunhua felt very comfortable when she heard that. She thought that her second daughter-in-law was indeed better at speaking than the other daughters-in-law. Li Chuiying glanced at Zhao Xinhui's jewelry and sighed. Not to mention other things, Zhao Xinhui was actually wearing 7 to 8 bracelets on one hand. There were gold, silver, jade colored glaze. All of them were very beautiful and exquisite. Li Chuiying stared at Zhao Xinhui's bracelets. After looking at them for a while, he said to Zhao Xinhui, Little sister, you have so many bracelets. They are so beautiful. It's good enough for an ordinary person to have one. You have more than 10 bracelets on both hands, right? Zhao Xinhui raised her hand and waved it. When she saw the bracelets on her hand, she was very satisfied and said proudly, These were all given to me by my husband. There are many more at home. I only wear these out. Chapter 13:19. Zhao Xinhui raised her chin and said, this is nothing. There are more and better things. Second sister-in-law, you haven't seen them before, so you don't know what good things are like in the city. Li Chuiying smiled embarrassedly and followed behind Zhao Xinhui. Yes, Huier, you're right. You use a lot of things. Second sister-in-law is ignorant and doesn't know what good things are. Zhao Xinhui grunted in agreement. Li Chuiying stared at Zhao Xinhui's bracelet again and looked at Zhao Xinhui ingratiatingly. Little sister, your bracelets are so pretty. Can you take one of them off and let second sister-in-law have a closer look? Zhao Xinhui was not stingy about this. She replied, Of course. As she spoke, she took off a glazed bracelet and handed it to Li Chuiying. Li Chuiying touched it in his hand and looked at it with wide eyes. He sighed as he looked at it. It's so pretty. Rich people's things are just different. It feels different just by looking at them. Zhao Xinhui glanced at Li Chuiying and looked at Li Chuiying as if he was a country bumpkin. She felt that Li Chuiying was ignorant. Li Chuiying held Zhao Xinhui's bracelet in his hand and couldn't bear to put it down. After touching it for a while, he smiled at Zhao Xinhui and said, Little sister, can I hold your bracelet and try it on? It looks so pretty. Can I put it on and try it on? Before Zhao Xinhui could say anything, Li Chuiying retorted unhappily, It's good enough that I'm letting you see it. You still want to wear it. After being scolded by Hu Chunhua, Li Chuiying pursed his lips and was about to return the bracelet to Zhao Xinhui. However, he unexpectedly said to Zhao Xinhui, Second sister-in-law, since you like it so much, I'll give it to you. It should look good on you. Zhao Xinhui was willing to give it away because she had too many things. It was nothing to give one away. Moreover, young Master Meng would continue to give it to her. Li Chuiying's words were pleasing to the ears. She liked it, so it was fine to give one to her. She would treat it as a reward for flattering Li Chuiying. Her second sister-in-law would definitely be more attentive to her in the future. Li Chuiying, she thought that he had heard it, and he asked, "Little sister, are you joking? Are you really giving it to me? This is a treasure." Zhao Xinhui nodded in agreement. "Second sister-in-law, I said I'm giving it to you, so I'm giving it to you. Don't tell me I'm lying to you." When Li Chuiying heard this, he was overjoyed. He pulled Zhao Xinhui aside and praised her. "Little sister, you're so nice. Now that you're rich, you still take care of your brothers and sisters-in-law. The Zhao family is so lucky to have a girl like you." Zhao Xinhui was also very happy to be praised. He replied faintly to Li Chuiying, "Of course, sister-in-law. We're family. Do you think I'm like some people who forget about our family when they're rich?" Zhao Xinhui was referring to Zhao Ping'er. When Zhao Ping'er was rich, she didn't care about old Zhao's family. She didn't care about old Zhao's family at all. She ate well and drank well, while old Zhao's family continued to live a hard life. Li Chuiying smiled and replied, "Yes, yes, yes. Little sister, you're still different from the average person." Zhao Ping'er replied faintly, "Of course." When Feng Zhangxia from the first branch saw that Li Chuiying had gained some benefits, she had an idea. She wanted to go over and flatter Li Chuiying to gain some benefits, but Shen Pan'er stopped her. Chapter 13:20. Feng Zhangxia looked at Shen Pan'er in confusion and asked, "Why? Mother, if she's trying to flatter you, you shouldn't follow her. If little aunt doesn't give you anything, won't you be embarrassed? I don't think that's good." Shen Pan'er frowned. In fact, what she couldn't stand the most was the greedy villagers who hoped to gain benefits from others. Zhao Xinhui gave her the feeling of a nouveau riche. She didn't like to see Zhao Xinhui acting all high and mighty and thinking that she was someone important. However, Feng Zhangxia didn't mind and replied, "Pan'er, so what? I'm just saying a few words. If she doesn't give it to me, then forget it. If she does, then we'll benefit. Hehe, I'm going." Seeing that she couldn't stop Feng Zhangxia, Shen Pan'er could only let her go. Feng Zhangxia also went to Zhao Xinhui and started to flatter her. "Oh, little sister is back. You're dressed up so well today. You look like a different person. Look at your clothes and jewelry. They're so beautiful." Zhao Xinhui was in a good mood as she responded. She gave the bracelet to her second sister-in-law, but she couldn't give it to her eldest sister-in-law. Thus, she took off a jade bracelet from her wrist and handed it to Feng Zhangxia. Feng Zhangxia didn't expect Zhao Xinhui to be so straightforward and was overjoyed. "Little sister, you're so nice. You're so generous." Li Chuiying glanced at Feng Zhangxia unhappily. She felt that Feng Zhangxia was taking advantage of her. Her eldest sister-in-law liked to follow others. It was so disgusting. After receiving the bracelet, Feng Zhangxia quickly put it in her arms and then said to Zhao Xinhui with a smile, "Little aunt, why don't you have lunch at my place? I'll go and cook something for you now." Li Chuiying didn't want to be left behind and said, "Little sister, come to my place to eat. I'll cook something good for you too. It's rare for you to come back, so don't reject me." Second sister-in-law, we have a first come, first served rule. Since I said it first, little sister naturally has to eat at my place. I'll go to your place next time when I come back. Sister-in-law, it's my turn to cook first today. How long will little sister have to wait for your family to finish cooking?" Li Chuiying and Feng Zhangxia started arguing. Both of them wanted to drag Zhao Xinhui to their house to eat. It wasn't that the two of them treated Zhao Xinhui very well, but they knew that whoever ate with Zhao Xinhui would definitely be closer to that person. Then he would be able to give benefits to that person. If he could give away such a precious bracelet so easily, who knew if he would have something even better? How much could a meal cost? The gifts given by Zhao Xinhui were the real treasures. Zhao Xinhui calmly replied to their argument. "Eldest sister-in-law, second sister-in-law, what are you arguing about? I'm not going to any of your houses. I'm leaving soon." Hearing that Zhao Xinhui was going to leave in a while, Hu Chunhua couldn't stay calm. She asked Zhao Xinhui, "Huier, you just came back and you're leaving already?" Zhao Xinhui made a sound of acknowledgement. Can't you have a meal before you leave? Hua Chunhua was a little reluctant. Her daughter was getting married and going to another family. She missed her dearly. No, there's nothing good to eat at home. The good food doesn't taste good. It can't compare to the Meng families. It's better for me to go back. There's a lot of good food there. Chapter 1321. Zhao Pinger snorted. Mother, how many years have you been looking at it? Haven't you seen enough? Most people would be sick of it. Ah, you child, which mother would be sick of looking at their own child? You'll understand when you have your own child. Zhao Xinhui pursed her lips. He couldn't understand. Other people were other people. Anyway, she hadn't given birth to a child yet. Feng Zhangxiao chimed in from the side. That's right, little sister. Let's make do with lunch at home. It's so rare for you to come back. As sisters-in-law, we miss you so much. I said I'm not eating, so I'm not eating. Why should I make do with good food when there's good food? I'll come back when I have time. It's not like I'm dead and can't see it anymore. Zhao Xinhui replied very willfully. Hua Chunhua really didn't know what to do with her daughter, so she could only let Zhao Xinhui do as she pleased. Seeing that Zhao Xinhui wanted to go back, Feng Zhangxia didn't urge her to stay. Instead, she happily held the jade bracelet Zhao Xinhui gave her and walked over to Shin Panner. She said to Shin Panner, "Look, Panner girl, your aunt really gave you a bracelet. Look, it's so pretty. It's even prettier than a gold bracelet." Shin Panner saw Feng Zhangxia's somewhat snobbish manner and felt a little unhappy. The corners of her mouth twitched and she agreed. Yes, it's pretty. A jade bracelet isn't cheaper than a gold bracelet. It's a rare item. Feng Zhangxia was only a woman from the countryside, so she didn't recognize such expensive things. She only knew that Zhao Xinhui's bracelet definitely wouldn't be too shabby. When Shen Panner said this, she knew that it was a treasure and her heart was filled with joy. Panner, it's not appropriate for mother to wear such an expensive bracelet. Here, you wear this bracelet. Mother will give it to you. As she spoke, Feng Zhangxia stuffed the bracelet into Shen Panner's hands. Shen Panner didn't expect Feng Zhangxia to give the bracelet to her. Mother, Hehe Panner, wear it. It looks good on you. Mother's working hands don't look good with them. Shen Panner suddenly felt a little touched. She put it on and said to Feng Zhangxia, "Thank you, mother." Feng Zhangxia smiled kindly. "What are you thanking me for? Your mother's daughter-in-law. It's normal for her to give you anything good. Mother only has 2 sons and no daughter. Don't I treat you like my own daughter?" Shen Panner nodded. She suddenly felt lucky that she had met such a good mother-in-law, and not some evil mother-in-law. This was the good thing about marrying into a poor family. If she were to marry into a well-matched family, who knew if she would be targeted by her mother-in-law after going overboard? If her mother-in-law made things difficult for her, her life would not be easy. In the past few years, Feng Zhangxia had never given her a hard time. She was very good to her, and Shen Panner remembered this in her heart. "Mother, you're the best. You child, why are you still talking about this? Go and rest in the house. Mother is going to wash Yang Yang's pants." Shen Panner responded, "Okay, mother, go ahead." After Zhao Yin'er finished joining in the fun, she left the things she bought in Sun City with third son's wife. Zhao Yin'er thought that Liang Jinxiao didn't understand the situation, so she asked Liang Jinxiao, "Mother, I ran into Sister Ping in Sun City today. Guess what Sister Ping wanted to do?" "What did you want to do with Sister Ping?" Chapter 1322. Liang Jinxiao replied a little guiltily. "Pinger wants to do business? That's good. At least it's a proper business. Who knows, we might be able to earn some money." However, Zhao Yin'er snorted softly. Zhao Pinger had mentioned it before. She didn't expect that she would continue to do it even after so many years. That idiot. If she really wanted to do it, she could have done it alone. Why did she have to bring Ma Xiaofeng along and let others take advantage of her? Sure, a person like Zhao Pinger was so stupid that she probably wouldn't listen to what others said. It's good that they can earn money. If they can't earn money, it's all for naught. It's not easy for them to do things like this without planning anything well. Not to mention other things. Just buying breakfast at the stall and preparing those things every day was not an easy task. The breakfasts made by them might not necessarily be delicious. Her breakfast stall's business was good because her food had a unique taste that most people liked. Otherwise, ordinary stalls wouldn't be able to earn much money. If they didn't manage it well, they might suffer a loss. They had to transport so many things every day. Other than renting the stall, they had to prepare a donkey cart. This would be another expense. Where did Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng get so much money? Zhao Yun then told Liang Jinxiao about her doubts. Mother, where did Sister Ping get the money to set up the breakfast stall? At the mention of this, Liang Jinxiao's heart tightened. He didn't dare to tell Zhao Yun the truth. He pursed his lips and said to Zhao Yun, I think I heard Ping mention it before. She said that her in-laws also want to earn money and don't want to live a hard life. So they agreed to use the dowry she brought over to do business. Is that so? Zhao Yun was puzzled. When did the family Qin's people become so willing to trust Zhao Ping so much? However, on second thought, it wasn't impossible for the family Qin's people to agree, because of the profit motive. Liang Jinxiao's palms were covered in a layer of cold sweat. His smile was a little stiff as he said, Since Ping said so, it should be true. Then it'd be best if Sister Ping can earn money. If she can't, she reckoned that the family Qin's people would make her suffer. Liang Jinxiao replied, Yes, I hope Sister Ping's people can earn money. Her in-laws family Qin's family. It's not easy. She's only a few days after she got married. Zhao Yun saw that Liang Jinxiao was worried about Zhao Ping's situation and couldn't help but sigh. To Liang. After putting down the things, Zhao Yun went back. She hadn't been busy at home for long when she saw a carriage rushing over and stopping in front of her house. Zhao Yun looked up and wondered who had come to her house. After looking, she saw a woman in red walking down from the carriage. She was wearing a red dress. She was very ostentatious and eye-catching. The woman was also dressed beautifully. She wore beautiful jewelry on her head. Her hair was made of gold like a phoenix, and her long black hair was scattered behind her shoulders. The person who came was none other than Morong Xue Shuang. Standing in front of Morong Xue, Zhao Yun felt the gap between them. She was just an ordinary peasant woman in the countryside, while Morong Xue Shuang was a noble princess. Why was she here? Zhao Yun couldn't figure it out. Morong Xue Shuang also saw Zhao Yun. She walked straight towards Zhao Yun. Chapter 13:23. Zhao Yun looked at the spilled water and clothes on the ground, and a chill suddenly rose in her eyes. She scolded Morong Shuang. Are you crazy? Morong Shuang did not know what crazy meant. She just saw that Zhao Yun's attitude was a little bad, so she scolded Zhao Yun coldly. B***tch, who told you to seduce people? Where's my cousin? The cousin that Morong Shuang mentioned was Mu Lianfeng, and Zhao Yun knew this. Zhao Yun then understood that Morong Shuang came to her because of Mu Lianfeng. Looking at Morong Shuang's overbearing attitude, Zhao Yun felt very uncomfortable. She replied coldly to Morong Shuang. You called me a B***tch, do you think I'll tell you? Zhao Yun did not know the purpose of Morong Shuang's visit this time. Based on the current situation, Morong Shuang obviously had a feeling that she did not come with good intentions. Zhao Yun's words and attitude angered Morong Shuang even more. Morong Shuang was flustered and exasperated as she continued to scold Zhao Yun. B***tch, how dare you talk back? See how I'll deal with you. Morong Shuang usually relied on her status and was used to being arrogant and barbaric. No matter who it was, she did not pay attention to anyone. She thought that if she taught Zhao Yun a lesson, Zhao Yun would have to bear it and not resist. However, to Morong Shuang's disappointment, her tyrannical and overbearing attitude did not have much effect on Zhao Yun. Although Morong Shuang's status was not something that ordinary people could afford to offend, she could not just come and deal with her for no reason. It was really too much. Morong Shuang's face was about to slap Zhao Yun's face, but before she could touch Zhao Yun's face, a small figure ran over and stood in front of Morong Shuang. Don't hurt my mother. Daodu opened his arms to protect Zhao Yun and said to Morong Shuang angrily. Morong Shuang lowered her head to look at Daodu and snorted coldly. B***tch gave birth to a B***tch. Get out of my way. Morong Shuang did not care that Daodu was just a child, and still wanted to attack Daodu. Just as Morong Shuang was about to attack Lil P, a cold voice was heard. Stop! Morong Shuang stopped in her tracks. She turned around to look at Mu Lianfeng and said, Cousin. Mu Lianfeng's face was gloomy, and he was unusually angry. The thing that he could not tolerate the most was others hurting Zhao Yin'er and Daodu. This was his bottom line. Now that Morong Shuang was attacking these two people at the same time, even if Morong Shuang was his cousin, Mu Lianfeng still could not control his anger. He walked up to Morong Shuang and slapped her hard on the face. Morong Shuang was stunned. She did not expect Mu Lianfeng to hit her. She had never been hit by anyone in her life. Even in her own family, she was treated like a treasure. Her parents spoiled her very much, and she had never been treated so sullenly. Morong Shuang covered her face and cried to Mu Lianfeng, Cousin, you hit me. You hit me for AB*TCH and B*TCH. Stop. Cousin, you've gone too far. Chapter 1324. Morong Shuang was frightened by Mu Lianfeng's fierce eyes and cold voice. She was wondering why Mu Lianfeng was so repulsed by her. Even though they were married, he still hid outside and refused to see her. If she hadn't sent someone out to inquire about the news, she wouldn't have known that Mu Lianfeng was living with Zhao Yin'er in Shuilon village for a long time. Thinking of this, Morong Shuang couldn't suppress the jealousy in her heart. If Mu Lianfeng treated others like this, it would be fine. But it had to be a little peasant woman in the countryside. She had no status or appearance. That was it. She lost to Zhao Yin'er. How could she accept it? Morong Shuang looked at Mu Lianfeng feeling wronged. Cousin, what are you talking about? I'm your wife. Imperial consort Hua was the one who arranged our marriage. I'm going to marry you in the future. Who is this woman? Morong Shuang said, pointing at Zhao Yin'er and Mu Lianfeng. I will handle the marriage arranged by Imperial concubine Hua. I have already reported it to the Emperor. I am waiting for the Emperor to make the decision. Cousin, I have no feelings for you. It is purely brotherly love. So in this life, I will never marry you. Mu Lianfeng originally didn't have the heart to speak to Morong Shuang so bluntly. This time, he was really angry. Since it was impossible for them to be together, he had to make it clear. Otherwise, Morong Shuang would only have hope, seeing Zhao Yin'er as a thorn in her side, a thorn in her flesh. Morong Shuang was almost made to cry by Mu Lianfeng's words. Cousin, you can't treat me like this. The person you want to marry can only be me. Grandma won't accept the two of you being together. Morong Shuang couldn't help shaking her head. Mu Lianfeng replied coldly. This is my business. You just need to remember that in this life, I will not marry you. Morong Shuang was on the verge of breaking down after hearing what Mu Lianfeng said. She really couldn't figure out what Mu Lianfeng saw in Zhao Yin'er. For a village woman, he was so determined to not be with her. Cousin, you know that I like you. Except for you. I don't want to marry anyone else. Morong Shuang cried in front of Mu Lianfeng. Since a tough attitude didn't work, she could only pretend to be soft and see if Mu Lianfeng's heart would soften. Mu Lianfeng glanced at Morong Shuang with an expressionless face, then calmly replied, Cousin, you should know that if I'm heartless towards you, even if you tie me to you, it'll be completely meaningless. My heart isn't with you. Cousin, Gu Ning said. Alright, you should hurry back. If you continue to cause trouble here, don't blame me for being impolite. Mu Lianfeng began to drive her away impatiently. He felt that Zhao Yin'er would feel uncomfortable with Morong Shuang's presence. Morong Shuang glared at Zhao Yin'er and Daodu fiercely. She knew that if she stayed here, she would only make Mu Lianfeng hate her. If she wanted to win Mu Lianfeng's heart, it would be really impossible. She should go back to get help now. As long as Mu Lianfeng left Zhao Yin'er, everything would be fine. Morong Shuang sat in the carriage. Watching the carriage go away, Zhao Yin'er's frown didn't loosen. Her intuition told her that today's incident was just the beginning. There would be more storms waiting for her in the future. Zhao Yin'er had a little understanding of what kind of person Morong Shuang was. She wasn't a kind person. So if she was to be with Mu Lianfeng, she would have to go through some setbacks in the future. Chapter 1325. Daddy. Dao hugged Zhao Yuner and called out softly. He was a little scared by Morong Shuang, so he hugged Mu Lianfeng's thigh. Mu Lianfeng patted Dao's head and said to Dao, "What's wrong, Dao?" "Daddy, that person was so fierce. He wanted to hit Dao and Mother. Luckily Daddy is back." Mu Lianfeng's heart ached for Dao, and he said softly to Dao, "Don't worry, Daddy is here. No one can bully your mother and Dao." Dao nodded heavily. Yes. Yuner." Mu Lianfeng glanced at Zhao Yuner, then walked to Zhao Yuner and called out to her softly. He looked at Zhao Yuner with pity in his eyes. "I'm sorry for what happened today." Zhao Yuner twitched the corner of her mouth and replied, "It's nothing." Zhao Yuner felt that although what happened today was a little bad, Mu Lianfeng didn't feel too guilty. "Mu Lianfeng, I'm fine. As long as our hearts are together, nothing can stop us." Yes. Mu Lianfeng was touched. Seeing that Zhao Yuner was about to clean up the clothes on the floor, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly bent down and said to Zhao Yuner, "Yuner, let me do it. You and Dao go and rest." It's okay, I'll do it." What did it look like for a man to wash clothes? It would be fine if he did it at home, but there wasn't much water left in the water tank at home, so he had to go to the river to do it. If the villagers saw Mu Lianfeng carrying a wooden basin to wash clothes, who knew what kind of gossip there would be? "Yuner, it's fine. Let me do it. I can do it." Zhao Yuner saw that Mu Lianfeng had misunderstood. She didn't think that Mu Lianfeng couldn't do it, but she was afraid of others. If she could avoid those gossips, she would try her best to avoid them. After all, those hot topics were really unpleasant. "Mu Lianfeng, you're tired too. Let me do it. You rest. Go and talk to Dao." Dao pulled Mu Lianfeng's hand and said, "Daddy, you haven't taught Dao how to read for a few days. Can you teach Dao?" Mu Lianfeng had been busy these days. When he saw Dao's expectant eyes, Mu Lianfeng replied, "Okay, Daddy will teach you." "Okay." Dao's little face showed a satisfied expression. Looking at the sweet and loving father and son together, Zhao Yuner hoped that the days in her heart could continue like this in the future. Zhao Yuner saw Mu Lianfeng and Dao enter the house, so she packed up her clothes and walked to the river. When she came to the river, there were only a few women washing things. Zhao Yuner found an empty slate and went to wash it. At this time, she saw a woman walking towards the river. She was wearing a beautiful set of clothes. It was beautiful, but the color was slightly brighter. It looked better than the coarse clothes that the villagers wore. This set of clothes only cost a few hundred copper coins. It wasn't much for Zhao Yuner's current financial situation, but it was still relatively precious to the villagers. Zhao Yuner narrowed her eyes and looked at the person who came. It was actually Qian Chuanxiu. It was the first time she saw Qian Chuanxiu dressed so seductively. Chapter 13:26. Yes, it's so beautiful. I don't think many people in our village can afford it. Qian Xiaoxue, where did you buy it? Qian Xiaoxue, you're so beautiful. You look even more beautiful in this new dress. You look like a big girl. There are few people in the village who wear better clothes than you. The women spoke one after another. Although their words were pleasant to hear, many of their eyes were filled with jealousy. Qian Chuanxiu lowered her head to look at the dress she was wearing. She was also very satisfied. For decades, she had been wearing clothes made of coarse cloth. Before she got married, her family was poor, so she naturally didn't have the opportunity to wear good clothes. After she got married, she finally lived a slightly better life. Unfortunately, her husband was disappointing and died within a few years. It wasn't easy for her to take care of 2 children. After so many years, she didn't have the money to buy clothes for herself at all. It wasn't until today that she finally had a beautiful new dress. Speaking of this dress, of course, she didn't buy it herself. She didn't have the money at all. The money she spent on this dress was given by Zhao Wenxue. In order to make her happy, Zhao Wenxue gave her a lot of money to buy clothes for her. She didn't go to Yang City herself, so she gave the money to Ma Xiaofeng. Her daughter had good taste, so she asked her to wear a casual dress with her. Unexpectedly, she was very satisfied with the dress Ma Xiaofeng brought back. After she tried it on, she was reluctant to take it off. Now that she was wearing it outside, she wanted to let the other people in the village see how beautiful she looked when she dressed up properly. After all, most of the women in the village were just ordinary, and she was very beautiful. Qian Chuanxiu felt proud to avoid the envious looks of the villagers. Do I look good? Qian Chuanxiu asked with a smile. Of course. Exactly, Qian Xiaoxue. Did someone give you this dress? Qian Chuanxiu smiled. Who gave it to me? Of course I bought it myself. Qian Xiaoxue, did your family make money recently? A woman in the village asked curiously. That's right, Mrs. Qian. These clothes don't look cheap. Facing the questioning of the villagers, Qian Chuanxiu felt a little guilty. She twitched her mouth and said embarrassedly, clothes are only a few hundred copper coins. As a woman, sometimes we have to treat ourselves better. If we have some money, we can buy one. It's not a big deal. Sister-in-law Qian is really thorough. Haha, that's right. Sister-in-law Qian is open-minded. Most of us can't bear to do that. For people like us, eating is already a problem. Why would we care about what we wear? Even if we wear good clothes, so what? We work every day and wear nice clothes. They will get dirty. Qian Chuanxiu could tell that there was something wrong with these women's words. She didn't want to talk too much with these people. The more she spoke, the more mistakes she would make. Who knew what they would continue to say? Qian Chuanxiu carried a basin of vegetables and washed them quickly. Before she left, she took a bucket of water. After Qian Chuanxiu left, there was a burst of discussion behind him. This Qian Chuanxiu, she's already so old, but she's still dressed so gorgeously. Does she really think that she's still a young lady? Chapter 1327. I think this Qian Chuanxiu is just trying to dress up and seduce the men in the village. That's right. Otherwise, why would she dress up like that at such an old age? She's so seductive. I wonder who she's trying to seduce. We're all decent women. We won't dress like that. Zhao Yin'er heard several women's chatter by the river and felt it was very interesting. Sure enough, women liked men who behaved one way in front of others and another way behind others' backs. Moreover, it was easy for them to be jealous. If a woman stood out too much, it would cause all kinds of rumors. However, this was Qian Chuanxiu's business. How others criticized Qian Chuanxiu was their business. Anyway, it had nothing to do with her. Zhao Yin'er had just finished washing her clothes and was about to leave when she heard those women's gossip again. TSK. You don't know the reason why Qian Chuanxiu dresses up like that, right? A woman said mysteriously. Hearing that, several other women stretched their ears to listen carefully. They wanted to know what was going on. What's the reason? Hurry up and tell us. That's right. Hurry up and say it. She's dressed so seductively. What is she doing? What else can she do? She's seducing men, of course. I don't have any evidence, so I don't dare to say it. But I saw with my own eyes that the second son of old Zhao Wenxue, sneaked into Qian Chuanxiu's house again. Aya, is this true? Did you really see it? I have good eyesight. How can I see it wrong? Why did he sneak into someone's house? There must be something going on. Most people know how to avoid it. These two people are most likely together. No wonder Qian Chuanxiu dresses like that. It turns out that she's seducing Zhao Wenxue. Poor Zhao Wenshue's wife. I guess she still doesn't know that her man has another woman. That woman, Qian Chuanxiu, has a seductive face. She looks like a vixen and does all kinds of improper things. Sigh. If you want to blame someone, blame it on us women for not knowing how to dress ourselves up. We don't look like foxes at all. It would be strange if men don't like us. Should we remind Zhao Wenshue's wife about this? Poor people can't be kept in the dark forever. Forget it, let's not cause too much trouble. Other people's business is other people's business. If it isn't, they won't say that we're spreading rumors. That's true. When Zhao Yin'er heard these women gossiping, the corners of her mouth curved up slightly. It seemed that there would be a good show to watch in the future. She didn't know if old Zhao's family would flip the pot open after hearing this. With Li Chuiying's temper, she was afraid that he would make a fuss. This Qian Chuanxiu probably didn't have a good life. Thinking that the bitch would be punished, Zhao Yin'er couldn't help but feel sour in her heart. Zhao Yin'er held the wooden basin and listened to the gossip, then went back. Nothing much happened in the next few days. Zhao Yuner went up the mountain to pick tea every day. She casually found several workers to help her grow tea. Chapter 1328. If she planted them now and took good care of them, they would be able to pick tea leaves next year. After 2 or 3 years, the tea trees would be able to grow. At that time, she wouldn't have to go up the mountain to pick tea leaves every day. She would be able to pick more tea leaves on the barren mountain. However, Zhao Yuner naturally couldn't handle such a large mountain alone. Currently, she had hired a few men in the village to help her. When Zhu Era was done, Zhao Yuner wanted to let him take care of these tea trees and pay him a salary. This would also give Mulan's family an additional income. It was better than giving it to others and letting others earn the money. In the beginning, the saplings had to be watered and so on. After a few years, she wouldn't have to be so meticulous. Thinking about how she wouldn't have to work hard to hire people to pick tea leaves in the future, and could just sit at home and count the money, Zhao Yuner felt a burst of comfort in her heart. Mu Lianfeng seemed to be more idle these 2 days. He accompanied Daodu at home all day long and taught Daodu how to read and read. On this day when Zhao Yuner was preparing lunch at home, she saw Zhao Ping running over. Yuner, Sister Yuner. Hearing Zhao Pinger's words, Zhao Yuner subconsciously frowned. Why did Zhao Ping come over to her place? Listening to Zhao Pinger's tone, it sounded like she was trying to curry favor with her. It probably wasn't anything good. Zhao Yuner put down the spatula in her hand and walked over to Zhao Pinger. She asked Zhao Pinger, Sister Pinger, why are you looking for me? Zhao Ping twitched the corner of her mouth and smiled at Zhao Yun. Sister Yuner, I have something to discuss with you. Zhao Yun faintly raised her eyebrows and asked, what do you want to discuss with me? Tell me. Little Sister Yuner, I see that you haven't been setting up a stall these days, so your little Mao naturally won't be of any use. How about this? Can you sell your little Mao to me at a cheaper price? Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste to leave it at home? Zhao Yuner was slightly stunned. She was wondering why Zhao Pinger had come over. It turned out that she had designs on her family's Xiao Mao. When Xiao Mao heard that Zhao Pinger wanted to buy it, it was very angry. It shouted angrily at Zhao Pinger. Zhao Yuner turned around and glanced at Xiao Mao. This little fellow was too intelligent. It was most likely unwilling to be bought. When Zhao Yuner looked at it, little Mao's eyes softened. It looked at Zhao Yuner with pleading eyes, as if it was afraid that Zhao Yuner would really abandon it. How could she sell it? Even if you raised an animal for a long time, you would develop feelings for it. Moreover, Xiao Mao was different from other animals. Zhao Yuner faintly replied Zhao Ping, Big Sister Ping, who said that my family's Xiao Mao is useless now. It's very useful, so I'm not selling it. Zhao Ping, was a little anxious. Little Sister Yuner, what use can you be? You don't set up a stall now. You can take an ox cart wherever you go. Why do you have to raise a donkey? It's a troublesome thing to raise it at home. After listening to Zhao Pinger's words, Zhao Yuner couldn't help but snort coldly. Big Sister Pinger, I'll have to trouble you to worry about it. But this is my business. I'll decide on my own. You don't have to worry about it. If you don't want to sell it, then don't sell it. I came over to buy it out of kindness. If you don't want to sell it, then keep it at home and eat it. Zhao Pinger snorted coldly. After saying that, she turned around and left angrily. Chapter 1329. The reason why Zhao Ping came to Zhao Yuner was that she wanted to buy a donkey from Zhao Yuner at a discount. After all, she didn't have much money left. Once she bought the donkey, she could start preparing for the breakfast stall. Now that Zhao Yuner refused to sell it to her, she could only buy it herself. As for buying a donkey, Zhao Pinger thought that she couldn't go there alone. She needed to ask Ma Xiaofeng to go with her. The donkey they bought would definitely be better. With that thought in mind, Zhao Pinger walked towards Ma Xiaofeng's home. When she arrived at Ma Xiaofeng's home, Ma Xiaofeng was sitting under a tree in the yard. Xiaofeng, Zhao Pinger called her with a smile, then walked towards Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng, however, acted like she didn't hear her. Zhao Pinger walked closer and patted Ma Xiaofeng's shoulder. She looked at Ma Xiaofeng and asked with confusion, Xiaofeng, why don't you talk to me? Ma Xiaofeng was struck dumb for a second, then looked at Zhao Ping'er. Ma Xiaofeng forced a smile. Hi Ping'er, you're here. Yes, Xiaofeng. I just wanted to ask you whether you're free this afternoon. If you're free, let's go to the town to buy a donkey together. After Zhao Ping'er said that, Ma Xiaofeng was silent for a while, then slowly said, Sure. Haha Xiaofeng, I'll come to see you later. Ma Xiaofeng nodded. Sure. Zhao Ping'er noticed that Ma Xiaofeng was a little absent-minded, so she looked at Ma Xiaofeng with concern. Xiaofeng, do you feel uncomfortable today? You don't seem to be yourself. I'm fine. Ma Xiaofeng replied to Zhao Ping'er, but she looked a little displeased. Zhao Ping'er gave Ma Xiaofeng a glance, but still felt that something was wrong. Ma Xiaofeng's face was full of thoughts. Xiaofeng, are you sure you're fine? If you're in trouble, you must tell me. Zhao Ping'er really took Ma Xiaofeng as her friend, so she cared about Ma Xiaofeng very much. She was worried that Ma Xiaofeng might have an accident. Seeing Zhao Ping'er's concerned look, Ma Xiaofeng didn't want to talk at all, because it was hard for her to say it. The reason why she was so worried was indeed because something bad had happened. Originally, she was already miserable enough after being teased by Lu San. Now Lu San, this scoundrel, was even more excessive. When he saw her sitting in her courtyard, he even came to her door to tease her when he passed by, saying some filthy words. If other people in the village saw it, there would be a lot of gossip. Thinking of that, Ma Xiaofeng was mad. Lu San had bullied her once, but now he wanted to do it again and again. If he did it again and again, she wouldn't be able to live in the village anymore, because she didn't have the face to do it. Seeing that Lu San was so shameless, Ma Xiaofeng had to act like a shrew. She took the rice fork at home and threatened Lu San. Get out of my sight, or I'll kill you. When Lu San saw Ma Xiaofeng's fierce look, the corners of his mouth curled up, revealing a wretched expression. Oh, this little lady is quite fierce. I'll go, okay? Chapter 1330. This scoundrel Lu San, who knew if he would come to find trouble with him again. Anyway, she couldn't let others know that she had been raped by Lu San, or she wouldn't be able to get married in the future. Because of this matter, Ma Xiaofeng was worried for a long time, and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. When Zhao Ping'er talked to her, she didn't respond. Ping'er, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. Great, as long as you're fine. Our breakfast stand is almost ready. You have to be well at this time, so that we can live a good life. Got it. Ping'er, you can go back now. Call me later. Sure. Zhao Ping'er nodded. In the afternoon, the two of them went to Yang City together to buy a donkey. They didn't have a car to go there. If they chartered an ox cart, it would cost dozens of copper coins. Neither of them was willing to pay, so they walked there. Since they were from the countryside, they usually walked a lot. Shuilan village wasn't too far away from Sun City, so it wasn't too strenuous for them to walk there slowly. Most importantly, they could buy a donkey and take a donkey back when they came back. It was just a walk, so it wasn't a big deal. On the way, the afternoon sun was very hot, and the two of them were a little out of breath while walking. It was almost summer now, and the weather was getting hotter and hotter. After walking for a while, they were out of breath with sweat all over their foreheads. They had to walk and rest for a while. When it really came to summer, it would be very hot. Xiaofeng, it's so hot. Zhao Ping'er covered her chest and said. Ma Xiaofeng nodded. Yeah, we have no choice. It's almost summer. Well, I'm afraid of summer the most. We have to take a shower every day. If we don't take a shower often, our bodies will rot easily. What's wrong with that? Just wash it. It's just that when it's summer, it's more troublesome for us to make breakfast. We have to sell or eat the things we make on the same day. Otherwise, the things will spoil easily, Ma Xiaofeng said to Zhao Ping'er. After all, food in summer was easy to rot, and they couldn't sell the rotten food. Otherwise, the customers would definitely come to cause trouble. Xiaofeng, I didn't think of it until you mentioned it. Now that you mention it, it's true. What should we do? It's fine. Maybe our business will be good, and we can sell everything. If it's not good, we can prepare less. We can't lose money anyway. Xiaofeng, you're right. Haha, you're so smart. Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. She felt that Zhao Ping'er was no different from an idiot. So what? Didn't normal people understand this logic? After walking and stopping for a while, the two of them finally arrived at the donkey stall in Sun City. After asking about the price, they found that the donkeys were not cheap. Most of them cost more than 2 taels of silver, around 3 to 4 taels of silver. The smaller ones cost 2 taels of silver. Zhao Ping'er was very reluctant. If she wanted to buy a bigger donkey, she didn't know how much money she would have to spend. Zhao Ping'er didn't have much money on hand. She couldn't bear to spend so much money all of a sudden. After all, she didn't know if she would need money in the future. It was always good to save more money. Chapter 1331. Ma Xiaofeng smiled and said, "Of course you can." Zhao Ping'er was the one who paid for it, not her. Whatever Zhao Ping'er wanted to buy, she would definitely listen to Zhao Ping'er. Otherwise, if Zhao Ping'er asked her to pay for it, where would she get so much money? "But Sister Ping'er, we can't buy something too small. If it can't pull us, it will be troublesome. We have to carry a lot of things every day. A small donkey won't have the strength." Ma Xiaofeng reminded her. After all, sometimes the money should be spent. Otherwise, if they spent the money and bought an unsuitable donkey, it would be better not to buy it. Zhao Ping'er felt that Ma Xiaofeng's words were very reasonable, so she agreed and said, "Xiaofeng, that's fine. Let's buy something slightly bigger." "Okay. But back then, my little sister Yin'er bought a little donkey. Look at that donkey's strength, it's quite strong. It runs very fast." Ma Xiaofeng knew that Zhao Ping'er was talking about Xiao donkey. She had also seen that small donkey. It was indeed very strong, and was different from ordinary donkeys. "Sister Ping'er, your sister Yin'er is picking up other people's leftovers. Even if we see a treasure, we may not be able to pick it up." When Ma Xiaofeng said that, Zhao Ping'er seemed a little discouraged. She sighed slightly and said to Ma Xiaofeng, "Then let's look again. What if we can also pick up a leftover one?" Ma Xiaofeng had to let Zhao Ping'er go. Zhao Ping'er walked around and looked at the donkeys, hoping to find a good one. However, these donkeys looked similar in appearance. Zhao Ping'er didn't know much about donkeys, so she didn't know which one to buy. She asked the stall owner, "Uncle, do you have a bigger and cheaper donkey here?" "A bigger and cheaper one?" The old man thought for a while, and finally pointed at a donkey tied under a tree. This donkey was separated from the other donkeys, and was tied up alone. Zhao Ping'er and Ma Xiaofeng both took a look, and saw that this donkey was relatively big. "What do you think about that donkey? If you want to buy it, this donkey and a wooden cart will cost you 2 taels of silver." 2 taels of silver to buy a donkey and a wooden cart. Under normal circumstances, it would cost more than 2 taels of silver. The price, it was considered low. Most importantly, this donkey looked quite big, so its strength was definitely not weak. Ma Xiaofeng felt that something couldn't be cheap for no reason. Such a big donkey was only sold for such a small amount of money. There must be something wrong with it. She asked the old man, "Uncle, why is this thing so cheap? Is there something wrong with this donkey?" When Ma Xiaofeng asked, the old man who was selling the donkey suddenly became unhappy. He scolded Ma Xiaofeng, "Little girl, what are you saying? Didn't you say that there is something wrong with my donkey?" If others heard this, how can I continue to do business? Ma Xiaofeng quickly waved her hand and said, No, uncle. I didn't mean that. I just feel that such a big and good donkey only costs 2 taels of silver. It's a bit abnormal." Chapter 1332. The old man's words embarrassed Ma Xiaofeng and Zhao Ping'er. The corners of Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. She was too embarrassed to smile. Uncle, I don't mean that. I'm just curious. If your donkey is so big, why is it so cheap?" The old man snorted. "There must be a reason why it's so cheap. Otherwise, my donkey wouldn't be so cheap. Don't worry, my donkey is cheap not because there's something wrong with it. It's just a little stupid. Sometimes it acts like a block of wood, and can't be ordered to move." Hearing the uncle's explanation, Zhao Ping'er and Ma Xiaofeng finally understood. So it was like this. Hearing it, they didn't think much of it. Zhao Ping looked to Ma Xiaofeng and asked Ma Xiaofeng for her opinion. Xiaofeng, do you want to buy this donkey? It's a little stupid, but I don't think it's a big deal. Zhao Ping nodded. Sure, it's fine if it's a little stupid. Great, let's buy this one. It can save a lot of money. Otherwise, such a big donkey would cost at least 2 taels of silver in addition to the carriage. 2 taels of silver was enough for them to buy a lot of things. As long as it can run, it's fine. We just need to spend some time taming it. It's not a big deal. Sure. Zhao Ping made up her mind to buy this stupid donkey. Uncle, that's fine. Then I'll buy this donkey. However, if this donkey is sick or something, can you take responsibility? If I buy a sick donkey, then I'll be at a disadvantage. In order to prevent this donkey from having any problems, Zhao Ping thought it was better to make it clear before they bought it. Hearing that, the old man remained silent for a while, then said, If you have any problems with this donkey, you can come to me. However, if you don't want this donkey because it's too stupid, I won't agree, because I'll make it clear to you now. Sure, uncle. That's enough. Sure. Zhao Ping paid the money, and the old man brought the donkey over. He put a wooden carriage on the donkey and handed it to Zhao Ping. Come on, girl. This donkey is yours. It's easy to raise a donkey, and it doesn't eat any food. It's easy to raise it. Yes, uncle. Looking at her own donkey, Zhao Ping was a little excited. It was so big, and it looked like it had a lot of strength. It might even be better than the donkey in Zhao Yun'er's house. Xiaofeng, come sit. Zhao Ping excitedly waved at Ma Xiaofeng, wanting Ma Xiaofeng to experience it with her. Ma Xiaofeng's mouth also revealed a smile. Although this donkey wasn't hers, if she wanted to use it in the future, she would have a share. She didn't have to worry at all. The two of them sat together on the ox carriage. It was very spacious, and it felt much better than squeezing with other people. Great. Sure enough, it's good to be rich. We don't have to sit in an ox carriage like the country people. We can sit in a horse carriage. We're already so comfortable in a donkey carriage. If we sit in a horse carriage, it will be even more comfortable. Zhao Ping touched her donkey carriage and sighed. Chapter 1333. Ma Xiaofeng nodded and said, Sister Pinger, of course. It's definitely more comfortable in the carriage. It's so soft inside. How can it not be comfortable? Sister Pinger, when I go back, I'll make some mattresses and put them in the carriage. It'll be more comfortable for us to sit on. Zhao Pinger replied happily, Okay, Xiaofeng. You're so nice. I don't know how to make these things. Ma Xiaofeng replied to Zhao Ping with a smile. It's my pleasure. Sister Ping, just leave it to me. The two of them went to the market excitedly and bought some things to go back. They were all the things they needed to prepare for breakfast tomorrow. When they thought that everything was ready and they could open for business, Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng couldn't hold back their excitement. After all, if they opened for business, it meant that they could make money and have an income in the future. They didn't buy many things for the first time. They were afraid that they wouldn't be able to sell many things on the first opening. If they prepared too many things, it would be easy to spoil them. After buying the things, the two of them rushed to Shuilan village together. Now that they had a donkey, Zhao Ping planned to pick up Ma Xiaofeng every morning and send Ma Xiaofeng back home when they finished setting up the stall. Anyway, the donkey ran much faster than people walked. The two villages were not far away from each other. It only took them 10 minutes to go back and forth by donkey cart. Seeing that the donkey ran quite fast and pulled the two of them easily, Zhao Ping felt that she had gotten a bargain at a low price. She gloated and said, That old man is really stupid. If he didn't say that the donkey was stupid, who would know? Isn't it running well now? Hee, we saved a few taels of silver at once. Yeah, it's pretty good. Sister Ping, you can't say that the old man is stupid. He's actually quite kind. If it were an ordinary person, they definitely wouldn't tell others that there's something wrong with the donkey. Zhao Ping nodded heavily. Xiaofeng, you're the most reasonable one. You're much more reasonable than I am. Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. If it weren't for the fact that she was relying on Zhao Ping, she really wouldn't have bothered with Zhao Ping. The donkey suddenly stopped as if it was running. Zhao Ping, and Ma Xiaofeng suddenly frowned and asked, what's wrong? Why did you stop running? Ma Xiaofeng shook her head. I don't know. I was running fine. I didn't see anything happen. Zhao Ping was puzzled. The donkey definitely wouldn't stop running. There must be some reason. Hence, she hurriedly got down from the ox cart and walked around the donkey. She didn't find anything unusual. Zhao Ping scratched her head in confusion. She couldn't understand. Since there was nothing wrong, why did the donkey stop? Hey donkey, hurry up and leave. We still have to go back. Zhao Ping chided. However, the donkey acted as if it didn't hear Zhao Ping's words. It simply ignored her and didn't move. Zhao Ping was instantly angered. This donkey was really disobedient. It acted as if it didn't hear what she said. You damn donkey. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what I said? Really? Hurry up and run. It's so uncomfortable to be under the hot sun. However, this time, Zhao Ping's donkey went overboard. It almost made Zhao Ping angry. The donkey's eyes slowly closed, as if it was about to fall asleep. Chapter 1334. Ma Xiaofeng hurriedly called out to Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping glanced at it and realized that it was just as Ma Xiaofeng had said. The donkey was about to fall asleep. Seeing the donkey sleeping, Zhao Ping exploded. This damn donkey. It was running well, but it actually stopped to sleep. See if I don't teach it a lesson. With that, Zhao Ping lifted one leg and kicked the donkey's butt. The donkey was awakened by the pain, and as if it was frightened, it immediately rushed out. Zhao Ping looked at the donkey that flew out and was shocked. Seeing the donkey running so fast, even if she wanted to chase after it, she couldn't. Zhao Ping was very anxious. If the donkey ran away, what should she do? Wouldn't the 2 tails of silver be wasted? Compared to Zhao Ping, Ma Xiaofeng was even more unfortunate. Zhao Ping just got down, but Ma Xiaofeng was still sitting on the carriage. So when the donkey ran out, her whole body leaned back, and she was almost thrown off. Fortunately, she caught it. However, the donkey ran like crazy. Ma Xiaofeng was jolted, and she was still about to be thrown off. As the donkey ran, Ma Xiaofeng screamed in fear. Zhao Ping shouted from behind Ma Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng, you have to watch the donkey. Don't let it run away. If the donkey ran away, the 2 tails of silver would be gone. Zhao Ping felt her heart ache just thinking about it. Now she didn't have much money left. If she really wanted to buy another donkey, she probably couldn't afford it. Ma Xiaofeng's heart was about to jump out. She didn't have the mood to care so much. Her hands firmly grabbed the handle of the carriage to stabilize her body. Now, she could only pray that she would not fall to her death. Even if the donkey really ran away, it was none of her business. Who asked Zhao Ping, that idiot, to kick the donkey's butt? The donkey was startled, and she was also implicated. After Zhao Ping shouted, she hurriedly chased after the donkey, wanting to catch up with it. In the end, when he was panting, he still saw the donkey disappear from his sight. Zhao Ping had a bitter look on her face. She slapped her thigh and wailed, God, what should I do? Damn donkey. What Zhao Ping was most afraid of was that Ma Xiaofeng had an accident, and the donkey ran away with her. She couldn't run anymore. Zhao Ping was so anxious that she couldn't do anything. She could only drag her heavy steps forward. As for the frightened donkey, it ran all the way. In the end, a big tree suddenly appeared at the corner. The donkey couldn't avoid it, and hit the tree head-on. The carriage was also hit hard. Ma Xiaofeng couldn't resist such a strong force, and fell forward heavily. In the end, although the donkey stopped, Ma Xiaofeng was also tortured badly. There was a big bump on her forehead, and it was very painful. It seemed that her skin was scraped and blood was oozing out. Ouch! Ma Xiaofeng took a long breath in. She felt that she was going to die. It was all Zhao Ping's fault. She was so miserable because of Zhao Ping, that idiot. Rubbing her aching head, Ma Xiaofeng felt that she was going to die. She fell to the ground all of a sudden, and couldn't get up. She could only slow down for a while. Chapter 1335. The moment Zhao Ping went over, she saw Ma Xiaofeng sitting on the ground. She hurried over to Ma Xiaofeng and asked Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, what happened to you? Are you all right? Ma Xiaofeng looked up weakly and glanced at Zhao Ping. She was almost angered to death by Zhao Ping. This idiot. She still asked her what happened, and whether she was all right. Wasn't this all her fault? If she hadn't hit the donkeys, but would she be in such a miserable state? Now there was a scar on her head. Could it be that Zhao Ping was blind and didn't see it? But even though she was angry, in order to continue doing business with Zhao Ping in the future, and to let Zhao Ping help her earn money, she couldn't scold Zhao Ping too much now. She had to coax Zhao Ping. She would just take it as her bad luck this time. Ma Xiaofeng twitched the corner of her mouth and replied weakly, Hey Ping, older sister. I'm in so much pain. Looking at the injured Ma Xiaofeng, Zhao Ping felt a little guilty. If she hadn't kicked the donkeys, but Ma Xiaofeng definitely wouldn't be injured. However, Zhao Ping thought about it from another perspective. It didn't seem like she was responsible for it. If there was anyone to blame, it could only be the donkey. She had stopped and asked it to leave, but it didn't leave. She had only kicked it out of anger. Usually, when she kicked the dog at home, the dog wouldn't have much of a reaction. Who knew that this stupid donkey would actually go crazy and rush out like this? If it hadn't hit the tree, who knew if it would have run even further? And she probably wouldn't have been able to catch up. Zhao Ping glared at the donkey angrily and put all the blame on the donkey. She scolded the donkey. You donkey, you're too much. When I asked you to run, you didn't run. When I didn't ask you to run, you ran so fast. Look at how badly you hurt Xiaofeng. It's all your fault. Ma Xiaofeng looked at Zhao Ping speechlessly. It was Zhao Ping who was stupid. She had provoked the donkey, but now she was pushing the blame to a beast. How interesting. Ma Xiaofeng really didn't know what to say to an idiot like Zhao Ping. She could only let Zhao Ping do what she wanted. Even though she was hurt, Xiaofeng's fault, she couldn't let Zhao Ping take responsibility. The donkey didn't react to Zhao Ping's words. It didn't understand at all. However, in Zhao Ping's eyes, the donkey's reaction was shameless. It didn't want to admit its mistake. She continued to scold the donkey angrily. Stupid donkey, you're being disobedient, aren't you? You're doing this on purpose, right? See if I don't teach you a lesson. Zhao Ping couldn't take it anymore. She rolled up her sleeves and was ready to hit the donkey again. Ma Xiaofeng was worried that Zhao Ping would make the situation worse. She quickly pulled Zhao Ping back and said to Zhao Ping, Sister Ping, forget it. You can't hit it anymore. Look, because you kicked it, the donkey ran away. If you kick it again, it will definitely run away again. What should we do if we can't find it? Zhao Ping frowned. She rolled her eyes and replied to Ma Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng, what you said makes sense. However, Zhao Ping wasn't willing to let the donkey go just like that. She was determined to teach it a lesson. Chapter 1336. Since it was tied to the tree, there was no need to worry about the donkey running away. Zhao Ping did what she said and tied the donkey's rope to the tree. After tying it up, she smiled at Ma Xiaofeng and said, Xiaofeng, look, I don't believe that it will be able to break free. How strong could a donkey be? With such a big tree, even a horse might not be able to move. Ma Xiaofeng looked at Zhao Ping speechlessly. She really couldn't figure out why Zhao Ping couldn't find fault with herself. Why did she have to be so calculative with an animal? If others knew about this, she wouldn't be afraid of being laughed at. Sister Ping, forget it. It's just a donkey. Why are you so calculative with it? Ma Xiaofeng couldn't help but persuade her again. Zhao Ping snorted coldly and said, Xiaofeng, it's not like that. Anyone who does something wrong should be punished. So what if it's a donkey? Does it think that I can let it go just because it's a donkey? Ma Xiaofeng replied helplessly. Well, Sister Ping, if you want to teach it a lesson, then teach it a lesson. But don't go too far. We still have to count on her to go back later. Zhao Ping responded, Xiaofeng, don't worry. I know that this animal is dishonest. After I teach it a lesson, it will definitely be obedient. Ma Xiaofeng responded faintly. However, she looked at Zhao Ping, as if she was looking at an idiot. After Zhao Ping rolled up her sleeves, she walked in front of the donkey and slapped it a few times on the head. If it's stupid, you should hit it a few more times. It'll be smart after that. Ma Xiaofeng was speechless. The corner of her mouth twitched. Zhao Ping's logic was ridiculous. If that was really the case, Zhao Ping should hit it a few more times on the head. You damn donkey, remember this. If you don't listen to me, I'll skin you alive and cook you into donkey meat. Zhao Ping threatened in anger. No matter whether the donkey was hit on the head or was threatened by Zhao Ping, it didn't have any reaction at all. This was the most annoying situation. You were like a bomb, but the target of your anger didn't seem to care about it at all. Stupid donkey, stupid donkey, stupid donkey, it won't listen to me. It's so annoying. Ping, that's enough. It's an animal, so it can't understand human language. Didn't the old man say that this donkey is stupid? It won't be able to understand you. Ma Xiaofeng persuaded. Seeing Zhao Ping struggling, she felt very uncomfortable. Zhao Ping was silent for a while. She seemed to be thinking about Ma Xiaofeng's words. Well, Ping, let's go back right now. We don't want to waste time here. Zhao Ping thought for a while, then nodded. All right, Xiaofeng, I'll listen to you. I won't argue with this animal. Ma Xiaofeng nodded. Zhao Ping untied the rope from the tree, then said to the donkey, Stupid donkey, behave yourself now. However, to Zhao Ping's disappointment, the donkey did not move at all. It stayed where it was. Xiaofeng, this stupid donkey won't walk again. Zhao Ping pulled the donkey several times and complained in anger. Sister Ping, is this donkey tired from running? Chapter 1337. She had seen Zhao Yun'er's donkey before. That donkey had been running for a long time, but it was not as tired as Zhao Yun'er's donkey. Why was her donkey tired? Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. She felt that Zhao Ping's words were very strange. Pinger, how would I know? Ma Xiaofeng replied. Let's go back with the donkey. We can't stay here forever. Zhao Pinger felt very uncomfortable, but she could only follow Ma Xiaofeng's words and forcefully pulled the donkey back home. By the time they arrived at Shuilan village, Zhao Pinger was already exhausted and couldn't take it anymore. She complained about the donkey in her heart. However, the old man who sold the donkey said that unless there was something wrong with the donkey, he would not take responsibility. This donkey didn't move because it was too stupid and didn't listen to what others said. Zhao Pinger thought for a while. I spent a lot of money but still got angry. I am really unlucky. Unfortunately, I have to make do with this donkey in the future. When they arrived at Shuilan village, many women and girls saw Zhao Pinger and Ma Xiaofeng coming back in the donkey cart. They all went up to them and gossiped. Hey Pinger, Xiaofeng, did you buy a donkey? Speaking of this, Zhao Pinger was unhappy. She unhappily replied. Why do you ask when you already know the answer? If we didn't buy it, did we steal it? Zhao Pinger, we just care about you and come over to ask you. Look at you, what kind of attitude is that? Exactly what kind of attitude is that? Do you think you are so great just because you bought a donkey? When your younger sister Yun'er bought a donkey, she didn't act like that. Zhao Pinger's face was gloomy. She felt that these women who came up to her were very annoying. I don't want to waste my time talking to you. I am going back. As Zhao Pinger said that, she angrily tugged at the donkey and pulled it to continue forward. Zhao Pinger, you bought a donkey. Look at how precious it is. Why don't you sit on it? It is so tiring to walk back. You don't even know how to enjoy it. Right, Zhao Pinger, who cherishes a donkey as much as you do. Why don't you sit on it? You are the one who is serving the donkey. Zhao Pinger looked at the gloating faces of these people and angrily replied. Meddling in other people's business. What does it have to do with you? Yo, why aren't you saying anything? Alright. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go. Look at her. She looks like a villain who has succeeded. It's so annoying. It was just a donkey, and no one could afford it. Zhao Pinger was annoyed when she heard these people's words. She didn't understand why the people in the village were so mean. They must be jealous of her. After avoiding these annoying women, Zhao Pinger drove Ma Xiaofeng back home first. On the way, she met Zhao Tianen again. Zhao Tianen just walked home with a kettle in his hand. He was going to go home to get some water. The weather was getting hotter and hotter now, so he felt more thirsty when he was working. The kettle of water was emptied in a short while. Seeing Zhao Tianan, Zhao Ping'er greeted him and shouted to Zhao Tianan. Tianan! Zhao Tianan heard Zhao Ping'er's voice and turned to look at Zhao Ping'er. Sister, did you buy this donkey? Zhao Tianan asked with curiosity. Chapter 1338. Zhao Tianan was even more confused. He looked at Zhao Ping'er and asked, Sister, what's going on? What's wrong with the donkey you bought? It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. Tianan, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it, but it's a stupid donkey. It's so stupid. It's so stupid that it's infuriating. It doesn't understand human language. It doesn't know how to run when I tell it to, but it runs very fast when I don't let it run. Look, Xiaofeng's injuries were caused by this donkey. If it weren't useful to me, I would have killed it and eaten it. Hearing Zhao Ping'er's complaints, Zhao Tianan twitched the corner of his mouth. Hearing that Ma Xiaofeng was injured, his heart couldn't help but tremble. He looked at Ma Xiaofeng. Seeing the injuries on Ma Xiaofeng's face, Zhao Tianan's heart ached for her for a moment. However, Zhao Tianan soon adjusted his emotions, because he knew that since he wasn't with Ma Xiaofeng now and was with Mu Hin, he shouldn't have any feelings for Ma Xiaofeng. When Zhao Tianan looked at Ma Xiaofeng also looked at Zhao Tianan. When she looked at Zhao Tianan with her beautiful big eyes, there was a feeling of tenderness. Ma Xiaofeng had some expectations in her heart. She wanted to see Zhao Tianan show some concern for her. Seeing a trace of concern in Zhao Tianan's eyes, Ma Xiaofeng's heart had a trace of joy. She knew that Zhao Tianan must still love her. Otherwise, Zhao Tianan wouldn't be like this. After Zhao Ping'er finished talking, Zhao Tianan just pulled up the corner of his mouth slightly, as if he didn't care about it at all. Sister, I'll go home and get some water first. Zhao Ping'er glared at Zhao Tianan with dissatisfaction. Why are you in such a hurry? Will she starve to death if we wait a little longer? Tianan, look, Xiaofeng is already like this. Why don't you care about her? Seriously? Zhao Tianan pulled up the corner of his mouth helplessly and replied, Sister, what can I do when you say that? Why can't you help her? You can say something nice to her and show her concern. Zhao Ping'er secretly said to Zhao Tianan. Zhao Tianan replied reluctantly, Sister, what are you talking about? Why can't you just say it? What's the point? I can't say anything. After Zhao Tianan finished speaking, he braced himself and ran off. Watching on the other hand, Zhao Tianan's a little on the other's face. Seriously, she had hoped that Zhao Tianan could say a few words to Ma Xiaofeng to mend their relationship. Who would have thought that Zhao Tianan would be so resistant? Zhao Ping'er looked at Ma Xiaofeng helplessly. She saw that Ma Xiaofeng's expression dimmed for a moment, and she seemed a little sad. Xiaofeng, Zhao Ping'er called out with concern. Ma Xiaofeng pulled up the corner of her mouth and said, Sister Ping'er, it's okay. I'm fine. Let's keep going. Zhao Ping'er felt a little guilty. She nodded and responded. Pulling her donkey, Zhao Ping'er continued to walk in the direction of Ma Xiaofeng's house. After walking for a while, they finally arrived at Ma Xiaofeng's house. Qian Chuanxiu was in the yard. Seeing Ma Xiaofeng come back with bruises on her face, she hurriedly asked Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, what happened to you? Why is your face so badly injured? Mother, I'm fine. Ma Xiaofeng replied faintly. Chapter 1339. Ma Xiaofeng didn't know what to say, so she just gave Zhao Ping'er a glance. Qian Chuanxiu, however, immediately understood the meaning of Ma Xiaofeng's glance. She glared at Zhao Ping'er and questioned Zhao Ping'er. I say, little girl Ping'er, my family Xiaofeng's injuries were caused by you, right? You have to take responsibility. She's seriously injured. You need to buy something to nourish her. Zhao Ping'er looked at Qian Chuanxiu apologetically. Aunt Qian. Ma Xiaofeng pulled Qian Chuanxiu's hand and said to Qian Chuanxiu, Mother, don't say any more. It has nothing to do with Sister Ping'er. Qian Chuanxiu snorted, but didn't believe it. Ma Xiaofeng immediately said to Zhao Ping'er, Sister Ping'er, you can go back now. Don't take my mother's words to heart. She just cares about me too much. Zhao Ping'er nodded, then left Ma Xiaofeng's yard with the donkey. After Zhao Ping was gone, Qian Chuanxiu questioned Ma Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng, tell me the truth. Did Zhao Ping hurt you? Why didn't you tell me to get even with her? Ma Xiaofeng explained patiently. Mother, although it was Zhao Ping, who hurt me, you should be blamed for it. Why not? Could it be that you were hurt by her for nothing? Seriously? Mother, why do you care so much about it? What can I do even if I really get even with her? How much money can I pay? We can't be in a deadlock with her now. I'm going to open a stall soon, and I'll be able to make a lot of money by then. Mother, it's not worth it for you to hold on to her and not let her go. Xiaofeng, you're right. Qian Chuanxiu thought that it made sense, so she nodded. Ma Xiaofeng said again, Mom, don't worry. When I earn enough money, I'll definitely let you live a good life. When that time comes, I'll let brother study so that he can be outstanding. Our family's life will definitely get better and better. Hearing Ma Xiaofeng's words, Qian Chuanxiu's heart was suddenly filled with joy. She smiled and said to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, you are really a good child. You know how to be filial to your mother. Mother, this is what I should do. Ma Xiaofeng knew that it was not easy for Qian Chuanxiu to raise 2 children alone for so many years. She wanted to earn enough money to be filial to Qian Chuanxiu, because she thought that when Qian Chuanxiu was rich in the future, Qian Chuanxiu wouldn't have to hook up with Zhao Wenxue. She had the ability to support her mother, so she didn't need to get any benefits from Zhao Wenxue. Paper couldn't cover fire forever. Ma Xiaofeng was worried that she would be caught by the villagers. If that happened, she would have a hard time in the future. Zhao Ping, continued to lead the donkey. Before she went back to the family Qin hall, she went back to the 3rd branch's house. Seeing Zhao Ping, coming back with a donkey in her hand, old Zhao's family members came over with curiosity. They wanted to see what was going on. The 3rd branch's family was completely different from before. Why did Zhao Ping, bring a donkey with her? As soon as Zhao Ping, arrived at the courtyard of old Zhao's house, she shouted to the 3rd branch's house, Mother, I'm back. I'm so thirsty. Get me a cup of water to drink. When Zhao Ping, was shouting, Zhao Yun'er was also in the 3rd branch's house. When she heard Zhao Ping's voice, she frowned. She was already an adult. Did she have no hands? She had to ask others to help her drink water. She was really lazy. Chapter 1340. When they arrived at the yard, Zhao Ping's forehead was covered with beads of sweat. Those who didn't know what was going on would think that something had happened to her. Liang Jinxiao handed a glass of water to Zhao Ping, and said to Zhao Ping, Ping, here, drink it. Zhao Ping took it, and with a few gulps, she poured the water into her stomach. After drinking it, Zhao Ping, wiped the corners of her mouth and the beads of sweat on her forehead. She sighed and said, I'm so tired. Ping, what's wrong with you? Liang Jinxiao asked curiously when he saw Zhao Ping's appearance. He couldn't figure out what Zhao Ping had done, and why she was so tired. Zhao Ping breathed a sigh of relief and replied, Mom, I went to the town today and bought a donkey back. Liang Jinxiao frowned and glanced at the donkey in Zhao Ping's hand. He was still puzzled. Ping, what's wrong with that? Why are you so tired after buying a donkey? You can sit on the donkey cart when you come back from Yang City. You don't even have to move. At the mention of this, Zhao Ping angrily slapped the donkey's head and complained to Liang Jinxiao. Mother, I'm really unlucky. I made a mistake. This donkey is a stupid donkey. If I don't pull it, it won't move. What? Liang Jinxiao opened his mouth in surprise. Why did you buy a donkey if it won't walk? He bought it because he wanted the donkey to be able to pull freight, so that people wouldn't be tired from walking. Since the donkey still needed to be pulled, it was completely meaningless to buy it back. Zhao Ping pursed her lips. Mom, who knows? At first, it knew how to run, but after running for half the distance, it got tired and stopped running. Can't you tell? Why don't you just return the donkey after you bought it? In such a situation, people won't refuse to return it, right? Liang Jinxiao suggested. He couldn't possibly spend money to buy something useless. As a businessman, he had to be responsible for the things he sold. Mom, it's impossible. Why can't I return it? Ping, How do you know you can't push it away if you don't try? If not, mother will help you talk to them. Since you spent money, the things you bought have to be good. Mother, you don't know. When we bought this donkey, they already said that the donkey was stupid and only asked for 2 taels of silver. We can take responsibility for other problems, but this donkey is too stupid. We can't take responsibility for it. After hearing what Zhao Ping'er said, Liang Jinxiao didn't know what to say, because he didn't know what to do either. To be honest, it was all Zhao Ping'er's own business. She knew it clearly, but she still insisted on buying the donkey. Zhao Yun'er was at the side. She was speechless. She felt that Zhao Ping'er deserved it. Who told her to be greedy? If she wasn't greedy, she wouldn't have done that. After all, it was her own fault. She couldn't blame others. Tut-tut-tut, Ping'er, you're so smart. You spent money to buy such a stupid donkey. You might as well not have bought it. Feng Zhangxia walked forward and joked. Zhao Ping'er was already angry. Being mocked by Feng Zhangxia, she glared at Feng Zhangxia and replied unhappily. Aunt, it's my business. It's none of your business. Mind your own business. Chapter 1341. Zhao Ping'er snapped. It's none of your business. Feng Zhangxia's expression instantly darkened. This wretched girl was even more annoying than Zhao Yun'er. Her words were so unruly. She was an elder after all, wasn't she? Her tone was so harsh. She did not care about her elder status at all. Liang Jinxiao's eyes darkened as he said to Zhao Ping'er. Ping'er, you can't talk to your eldest aunt like that. Zhao Ping'er pursed her lips. She did not take Liang Jinxiao's words to heart at all. Feng Zhangxia did not want to be calculative with Zhao Ping'er, so she snorted unhappily. Ping'er, you're so capable now. It seems like your in-laws are not poor anymore. You even have the money to sell a donkey. We relatives can't even compare to you. However, you shouldn't spend money like this even if you have it. How far can your in-laws live from your maiden home? You even bought a donkey. How luxurious. I think it's just right to buy a donkey. I'm sure you'll ride the donkey cart back and forth, and drag your in-laws to your maiden home, every day to eat and drink. Feng Zhangxia's words were extremely sarcastic and unpleasant to the ears. Since Zhao Ping'er did not give her any face, she naturally did not need to give Zhao Ping'er any face. She could say whatever she wanted. After Zhao Ping'er heard this, she wanted to fight with Feng Zhangxia. If Liang Jinxiao had not held her back, she probably would have really fought with Feng Zhangxia. Although they did not fight, Zhao Ping'er did not stop talking. She scolded Feng Zhangxia. You chatty old woman. You better watch your mouth. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Who are you trying to scare? You're not behaving like a junior at all. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning for saying such things to your eldest aunt? The corner of Zhao Ping'er's mouth twitched. She was only talking, and not using her fists was already very polite. Otherwise, with her temperament, it would be strange if she didn't use her fists. Liang Jinxiao was afraid of stirring up trouble, so he mediated. Sister-in-law, don't be so calculative with Ping'er. Who's arguing with her? I'm telling the truth. Third sister-in-law, you don't know what your family's Ping'er is like. The corners of Liang Jinxiao's mouth twitched, looking very awkward. Sister-in-law, it's because I didn't teach Ping'er well. But this time, she bought a donkey for serious business. Liang Jinxiao defended Zhao Ping'er. Feng Zhangxia's words were indeed a little harsh. In that case, weren't they also saying that Zhao Ping'er's family was stupid for letting Zhao Ping'er's family take advantage of them? Serious business? Ping'er, can you do something serious now? That's amazing. That's right, sister-in-law. Ping'er is preparing to do business in Yang City. Like Yun'er, she's going to set up a breakfast stall. When the time comes, she'll be able to earn some money by selling breakfast. Her in-laws are poor, so she'll be able to live a better life if she earns some money. After hearing Liang Jinxiao's words, Feng Zhangxia felt a little uncomfortable. To put it bluntly, he just couldn't bear to see others doing well. TSK. In that case, Ping'er is indeed doing serious business. Didn't Yun'er earn a lot of money by selling breakfast? Now that Ping'er is capable, she should learn from Yun'er. Feng Zhangxia's words were somewhat provocative. After saying that, She deliberately glanced at Zhao Yin'er and said to Zhao Yin'er. To Feng Zhangxia's disappointment, Zhao Yin'er didn't have much of an expression on her face. She looked very calm. Chapter 1342. Zhao Ping snorted softly and raised her chin as she spoke. Feng Zhangxia would definitely be jealous of her when she made money. She would wait and see what Feng Zhangxia would say then. Feng Zhangxia rolled her eyes at Zhao Ping. She got angry when she saw Zhao Ping's smug look. Zhao Ping pulled her donkey and drank some water. After resting for a while, she said goodbye to Liang Jinxiao. Mother, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Liang Jinxiao responded. Okay, Ping go back first. Be careful on the road. Okay, mother. With that, Zhao Ping's figure slowly disappeared in front of old Zhao's house. Haha, Feng Zhangxia laughed coldly, but no one knew what she meant. Liang Jinxiao looked a little embarrassed and did not say anything. Third sister-in-law, in my opinion, your Ping is really not comparable to Yin'er at all. Yin'er is much more sensible and likable. Feng Zhangxia nagged in front of Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao only twitched the corner of her mouth and did not respond to Feng Zhangxia. Zhao Yin'er's eyebrows moved. She thought in her heart. She didn't know if her aunt was belittling Zhao Ping or really praising her. Zhao Yin'er thought that it was her first guess. If Feng Zhangxia was praising her, she must have something up her sleeve. Yin'er. Feng Zhangxia smiled and shouted at Zhao Yin'er. Zhao Yin'er asked indifferently. What's wrong, eldest aunt? Yin'er, aunt just wants to ask you. Do you want to use your family's donkey tomorrow? Can you lend it to my family for a while? Why? Zhao Yin'er had to listen to what Feng Zhangxia had to say first. She was not very willing to borrow it. Anyway, she didn't have a good impression of her aunt. Feng Zhangxia smiled and explained. Hey, isn't it because of your son's cousin's marriage? Tomorrow morning. They had agreed that they would go to the girl's house. However, it's more than a dozen miles away, and I'm afraid that I'll be tired if I walk there. There's no ox cart in the two villages, so I was wondering if I could borrow one from you. After Feng Zhangxia finished speaking, she observed Zhao Yin'er's expression and thought that Zhao Yin'er didn't agree, so she added, Yin'er girl, if you don't want to lend it to us, you can rent it to us. I'll pay you 30 copper coins for this round trip. 30 copper coins was not a low price. This was the normal price. Feng Zhangxia did not take advantage of her. If it was lent to the first branch to do other things, it was likely that Zhao Ping would take the money. Knowing that it was used for Zhao Tianhu's marriage, Zhao Yin'er didn't accept it. It's fine, aunt, I can lend it to you. But I won't charge you for the sake of my second cousin. She meant that if the first branch still used Zhao Yin'er's donkey, it had nothing to do with Zhao Tianhu, and she would accept the money. Seeing that she had saved 30 copper coins, Feng Zhangxia immediately beamed with joy. She smiled at Zhao Yin'er and said, Yin'er girl, I told you that you're much better than Ping'er. That girl is really not good. If only she could be half as good as you. Zhao Yin'er didn't want to listen to Feng Zhangxia's flattery. Instead, she said to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, I'm going back now. Yin'er, don't you want to have dinner with us tonight? Mother, you can eat. I'll cook it myself. Chapter 1343. Zhao Yin'er smiled and said, Mother, we should eat breakfast. You should eat more tonight. There's too much left over from lunch. How can we eat more? Yin'er, why don't you come over and eat? Try to finish it so that it won't go to waste. Liang Jinxiao persuaded. Before Zhao Yin'er could say anything, Li Chuiying, who had heard Liang Jinxiao's words, went up to Liang Jinxiao and shouted, Hey, third sister-in-law, can't you finish your food? If you can't finish it, let me know. I'll help you finish it. Hehe. Our family is currently suffering from a lack of food. Share some with my family, so that your family won't waste it. As Li Chuiying spoke, she smiled and said to Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao's expression was a little stiff. She said that her family couldn't finish the food, and that her family could eat it. She didn't say that she would give it to others. Li Chuiying was obviously asking for it in front of her. If she didn't give it to her, Li Chuiying would probably say something stingy. Liang Jinxiao felt a headache just thinking about it, but there was nothing she could do. Li Chuiying was obviously asking for it in front of her. After all, she wasn't as thick-skinned as Li Chuiying. Sometimes, she couldn't put down her pride. It was impossible for her to quarrel with Li Chuiying alone. When Zhao Yun heard Li Chuiying's words, she frowned in displeasure. She had never seen anyone more greedy than Li Chuiying. This woman was very thick-skinned and had the nerve to say anything. Second aunt, should we thank you for giving the food to you? Zhao Yun raised the corner of her mouth and asked. Aya Yun'er, why are you so rude? Second aunt was just saying. Look at what your mother said. If we can't finish the food, we'll have to leave it behind. I didn't say that I wasn't going to eat. Why is second aunt worried about my family? Zhao Yun'er replied and poked Li Chuiying. Feng Zhangxia snorted coldly. Yun'er, don't bother about him. He's not thinking about your family. He's doing this for himself. Sister-in-law, why do you have such a foul mouth? It's none of your business. Li Chuiying glared at Feng Zhangxia angrily. What nonsense did I say? I'm just telling the truth. Feng Zhangxia rolled her eyes. You're still talking about facts. You just like to take advantage of others, and don't want to see others take advantage of you. What kind of mentality is that? Li Chuiying pouted and snorted softly. Second sister-in-law, your words are a bit too much. When did I take advantage of you? You, on the other hand, have already admitted that you took advantage of her? TSK. Feng Zhangxia's rebuke made Li Chuiying feel that he had spilled the beans. Zhao Yun'er was a little annoyed by the two of them, and said to Li Chuiying, Second aunt, regardless of whether you want to take advantage of my family or not, my family's food can definitely be finished by itself. You don't have to worry about it. It would be better to give it to Little Black than to give it to the second family. If it was given to Little Black would grow stronger, and could even guard the house. If it was given to the second family, these weirdos would often appear in front of him and disgust him. Liang Jinxiao smiled embarrassedly, and went into the kitchen with Zhao Yun'er, ignoring Li Chuiying. Li Chuiying felt stifled in her heart, and hated Feng Zhangxia even more. If Feng Zhangxia hadn't come out to stir things up, Zhao Yun'er might have given it to them. Chapter 1344. Okay, mother. Just pack some vegetarian dishes for me. You don't have to pack the meat dishes. You and father can eat them. Zhao Yun'er said. When she went back, she would have to cook some herself. She would share some with Little Black, so that it wouldn't be a waste. Liang Jinxiao nodded and said, Yes, that's fine. As Liang Jinxiao spoke, he took out a piece of butter paper, and began to pour out the dishes. The reason why there were so many dishes left was not that Zhao Yun'er really cooked too much, but that it was summer and people's appetite was not so good. They couldn't eat much. These men were not like when they first came. They didn't eat anything good. So every day, they felt that Zhao Yun'er's dishes were delicious, and stuffed it into their stomachs. Now that they ate it every day, after a while, they naturally didn't feel so regretful. In addition to their poor appetite, they didn't eat much at noon, and drank 2 more glasses of wine. It seemed that when she cooked later, she would have to cook less. She couldn't cook too much. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to finish it. It would be a waste if it went bad in this kind of weather. Yun'er, come, it's packed. Liang Jinxiao handed the package to Zhao Yun'er. Mother, then I'll go back first. Okay, go back. When Zhao Yun'er went back, it was not too late. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. She tidied up the tea leaves at home, and put them in a ceramic jar. She tidied it up and placed it on the ground. After a few days, she would pick more tea leaves and send them to those rich people. At about 5 o'clock, Mu Yanfeng came back from the mountain, and Zhao Yun'er began to cook. Zhao Yun'er heated up the leftovers first, and gave them to Little Black to eat. Originally, she was still worried that Little Black couldn't finish it alone. She didn't know when Big Gray came over. But there were a few other greyhounds behind him. These greyhounds were the same as Little Black. They were all Big Gray's children. However, because these dogs didn't eat well for a long time, they were not as strong as Little Black. All of them were thin and dry, as if they hadn't grown up. On the other hand, Little Black's head stood out among his brothers and sisters. Sure enough, the dogs she raised were more powerful than other people's dogs. Zhao Yun'er was a little complacent, But more importantly, she was proud. Seeing that Little Black was playing with his mother, siblings and so on, he thought to himself, Little Black is playing with his mother and siblings. Zhao Yuner couldn't help but recall that Little Black was a pitiful puppy that had been ostracized. The dogs were wandering around in front of Zhao Yuner's house, while Dowdu was playing with Little Black and the other dogs. Zhao Yuner saw this, and took out all the leftovers for the dogs to eat. Even if a dog ate a little, it probably wouldn't get much. It's time to eat. Zhao Yuner called out to Little Hay, and poured the hot food into Little Hay's dog bowl. Little Black heard Zhao Yuner's call, and ran to his dog bowl. He stretched his nose and sniffed, then began to eat in big mouthfuls. To Zhao Yuner's surprise, Big Gray and the other dogs just stood far away and didn't eat with Little Black. However, Zhao Yuner glanced at these dogs, and saw that their eyes were staring straight at Little Black's dog bowl. They couldn't help but lick their lips, as if they were very greedy. Chapter 1345. After eating a few mouthfuls, Little Hay seemed to have realized something. He stopped and looked back with his mouth. He saw that his mother and siblings were watching him eat, but they didn't come over to eat. He barked a few times at the dogs. After Little Hay barked, the dogs seemed to understand and ran towards Little Hay. Thus, the few dogs gathered together and started eating in Little Black's bowl. Zhao Yuner saw this, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. She felt that these dogs were very loving. Little Hay had taught him well. He knew that good things shouldn't be monopolized by one person, but shared with his siblings. When Zhao Yuner smiles, her eyebrows are curved and her eyes are sparkling like the stars in the sky. This scene happened to fall into Mu Lianfeng's eyes. When Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yuner smile, he felt that she was exceptionally beautiful. The corners of his mouth curled up along with Zhao Yuner. He walked to Zhao Yuner and asked Zhao Yuner, Yuner, what made you so happy? Nothing. I just saw Little Hay and his family together. It's very loving and very happy. They could play together on weekdays, and eat together when there was food. It was a feeling of sharing blessings and misfortunes together. Being together as a family, this kind of life was the most enjoyable. Sometimes people couldn't even compare to dogs. They couldn't live as simply as dogs. If they could really live like Little Hay and the others, Zhao Yuner would naturally be happy. Haha, Mu Lianfeng laughed. Time really flies. I remember that when Little Hay was brought back, he wasn't very old. In the blink of an eye, he has grown so big. Our family feeds him well. Look at the other dogs. They're so thin. It wasn't that Andy Lou's family was reluctant to feed the dog, but that was how it was these days. They couldn't even fill their own stomachs, let alone feed the dog. Yes, it's all thanks to Yuner. Not only do people like Yuner's dishes, but I also like to eat them. Mu Lianfeng joked. Zhao Yuner glared at Mu Lianfeng. I'm going to cook. All right, Zhao Yuner said and turned to the kitchen. It was almost summer, and one of the inconveniences was that it was even hotter when cooking. Because there was a fire in the kitchen, there was a lot of steam, and it was very stuffy. Zhao Yuner hadn't cooked for a while, but she was already sweating from the heat. When the meal was finally ready, Zhao Yuner hurriedly went outside to take a few breaths. It's so hot, Zhao Yuner muttered. She realized that her back was already drenched. In this weather, wearing coarse clothes, it was very hot, because these coarse clothes were basically thicker, and they were not breathable. It was okay to wear them before, but in this kind of weather, it was a little unbearable. It hadn't officially entered the hot summer season yet, and it was already so hot. If it waited until midsummer, it would be terrible. She would become a roasted pig. Zhao Yuner saw Dowda running around. When Dowda was called to eat, Dowda was also sweating all over. His little face was red and hot. Mother, Dowda is so hot. Can I take off my clothes? Dowda trotted to Zhao Yuner and asked in a soft voice to Zhao Yuner. Chapter 1346. Mother, why can't I? Why can't I take off my clothes? Dowdu asked curiously. Zhao Yuner patiently explained to Dowdu. Dowdu, you just played, so you're very hot. But you're sweating a lot. If you take off your clothes, you'll quickly feel cold. If you take off your clothes, You'll easily catch a cold. Dodo understood and nodded. Yes, yes. Mother, then Dodo understands. Dodo won't take off his clothes. Zhao Yun'er smiled and patted Dodo's head. Dodo is so obedient. Mother has finished cooking. Hurry in and eat. Yes, yes. Looking at the food on the table, Zhao Yun'er also didn't have much of an appetite, even though the food was pretty good. Perhaps people were like this in the summer. It wasn't easy to swallow food. Dodo's appetite was also smaller than before. On the other hand, Mu Lianfeng was still burying his head in his food and eating happily. This guy has a really good appetite. Zhao Yun'er put some soup in the rice and reluctantly swallowed the bowl of rice into her stomach. After eating, Zhao Yun'er sat on the stool and wiped her mouth. She began to think about what kind of food she should prepare in the summer, so that she could eat and make her appetite better. Hawthorn slices and sour plum soup were appetizers. Zhao Yun'er remembered that hawthorn slices could be found on the mountain. If she wanted to eat them, she could go pick them. They were also sold in Yang City for only half a kilogram. As for sour plum soup, it was made with hawthorn, dark plum, licorice and rock sugar. Drinking some sour plum soup would quench thirst and stimulate appetite. It should be very good. The main thing was that it wasn't troublesome to make and the cost wasn't high. Children and adults would definitely like to drink it. Zhao Yun'er planned to buy some of these ingredients when she went to Yang City to deliver the tea leaves in 2 days. That way, she would be able to make it. In addition to these, Zhao Yun'er planned to buy some thin silk or cloth back and make 2 new sets of clothes for summer. Thin silk was more silky and close-fitting, so it should be more comfortable to wear. However, it was possible that the price of silk was expensive. If one were to buy it, they would have to spend a lot of money for a bolt of cloth. If it was in the past, Zhao Yun'er might have been reluctant to part with them. Now that she had made money, what was the use of keeping these people if they did not treat her well? He might as well buy what he wanted to buy for himself, and buy it for Dodo. As for Mu Lianfeng, the Shitzi Manor had prepared many sets of clothes for him. There were also clothes for him to wear in summer. Zhao Yun'er was not worried about Mu Lianfeng. After dinner, the sky had yet to darken. The closer it was to summer, the later the sky would darken. However, with the arrival of summer, one of the troublesome things was that he had to bathe every day. After all, he had sweated so much. If he didn't bathe, his body would probably rot easily. However, Zhao Yun'er's family was still cramped in the dilapidated house. Even if he wanted to bathe, it was abnormally troublesome. Fortunately, her new house was almost ready. It wouldn't take too long. Zhao Yun'er distributed a large pot of hot water and went into the house to bathe first. She let Mu Lianfeng take Dodo outside. Dodo played with Mu Lianfeng for a while. By the time Dodo and Mu Lianfeng finished bathing, the sky had already darkened. A cool breeze blew gently, and the temperature in the air dropped a lot. After bathing, he felt much more comfortable. Zhao Yun'er waited for Dodo to finish bathing before telling Dodo to stop playing. Otherwise, he would have to bathe again with his head full of sweat. Chapter 1347. The wind outside was unusually comfortable. Dodo sat quietly in the courtyard, looking at the stars in the sky. Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng leaned against each other. When they looked at Dodo, their faces revealed contented smiles. Zhao Yun'er thought that if such days could continue, how many days would there be? No one would disturb their family. When she returned to the house to sleep at night, the house was very low and only had 1 floor, so it was very stuffy. It was not as good as the brick houses of the 20th century with 2 floors. If it was the 2nd floor, the room downstairs would definitely be very cool and wouldn't feel stuffy in this weather. When Zhao Yun'er entered the house, she felt that the house was steaming hot. She didn't know how long it would take for the house to cool down. Zhao Yun'er lay on the bed and felt that the bed was also steaming hot. She tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. This was one of the disadvantages of the ancient times. There were no electric fans, no air conditioners, and no heat dissipation devices in the summer. It was unlike the 21st century, where there was air conditioning. No matter how hot the weather was, there was nothing to be afraid of. With air conditioning, No matter how hot it was, one wouldn't feel hot. What Zhao Yuner was worried about now was that it was already so hot in May. If she waited until June or July, what would she do? Would she still be able to sleep at night? But in this era, how could there be a way to cool down the temperature? She lay on the bed and thought for a moment. If she could make some ice cubes and put them next to the bed, it should be able to lower the temperature in the house. In her previous life, Zhao Yuner learned about physics when she was studying it. Making ice wasn't very troublesome. She just needed to use some saltpeter. Later, she would go to Yang City to see if there was anyone selling saltpeter. If she could buy it, it would naturally be better. In the summer, she could put some ice cubes in the house and make some ice desserts to eat. Seeing that Zhao Yuner was tossing and turning, unable to sleep, Mu Lianfeng whispered in Zhao Yuner's ear. Yuner, what's wrong? Can't sleep? It's too hot, so I can't sleep, Zhao Yuner said. Mu Lianfeng put his hand on Zhao Yuner's forehead and found that Zhao Yuner's forehead was really hot. He said to Zhao Yuner, Yuner, why don't you take off your clothes and sleep? With such thick clothes wrapped around his body, it would be strange if he didn't feel hot. Zhao Yuner wrapped her clothes tighter around her body and quickly shook her head. No, that's it. Mu Lianfeng was amused by Zhao Yuner's behavior. How could he not know what Zhao Yuner was thinking? Zhao Yuner was like this because she was afraid that he would see her if she took off her clothes. Even now, the two of them had slept in the same bed many times, but he was still very guarded against her. He didn't know when Zhao Yuner would stop treating him like this. Mu Lianfeng knew that this was a matter of time. He just had to wait. Zhao Yuner closed her eyes. In a daze, she suddenly felt a cool breeze, and she immediately felt much better. Where did this wind come from? What was going on? Zhao Yuner opened her eyes and found that Mu Lianfeng was holding a fan and fanning her. Mu Lianfeng, aren't you going to sleep? Zhao Yuner asked. The corners of Mu Lianfeng's mouth curled up as he smiled faintly. It's fine. Yuner, aren't you feeling hot? Go to sleep first. I'll fan you and cool you down. Chapter 1348. However, if Mu Lianfeng didn't sleep because of her, Zhao Yuner would feel uncomfortable. Therefore, she said to Mu Lianfeng, Mu Lianfeng, don't just take care of me. You should sleep too. Mu Lianfeng smiled and said casually, Yuner, it's fine. You should sleep first. You have a lot of work to do every day. If you're too tired, I can sleep later. If you're sleepy tomorrow, I can get up later. Zhao Yuner twitched the corner of her mouth and had to say, Okay then. Mu Lianfeng insisted, so she didn't say anything. However, Mu Lianfeng was actually as busy as her every day, although Zhao Yuner did physical work most of the time. While Mu Lianfeng did mental work, Zhao Yuner felt that mental work was more tiring than physical work most of the time. In order to let Mu Lianfeng fall asleep as soon as possible, Zhao Yuner closed her eyes and fell asleep as soon as possible. The gentle wind blew, and it was very comfortable. Before long, Zhao Yuner slowly fell asleep. The next day, Zhao Yuner continued to pick tea leaves. Zhao Tianhu was responsible for driving the donkey at home, because she didn't have time to drive him. Luckily, it was easier to drive a donkey than to ride a horse, so everyone knew how to do it. Today was also the first day of Zhao Ping, and Ma Xiaofeng's stall. Early in the morning, the two of them got up early. It was the first day of business, and they were very excited. They seemed to be able to make a lot of money. Along the way, Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng were thinking that if they sold all the tea leaves, they could make a lot of money. Xiaofeng, if we can make a lot of money, we can buy some new clothes in a few days. Haha, at that time, we can dress up well. Ma Xiaofeng agreed with a fake smile. It was useful to buy clothes for her to dress up well. After all, she had a good foundation. If she dressed up well, she could definitely become the most beautiful girl in the village. As for Zhao Ping, she didn't want to buy beautiful clothes for her. It was a waste of money to buy clothes for her. At that time, my Yuanqing will definitely like me more. Zhao Ping was looking forward to it. Qin Yuan obviously treated her much better these days. Now that he had recovered, he was willing to sleep in the same room with her. He was even willing to touch her sometimes. This was a good sign. At the very least, It meant that Qin Yuan was more satisfied with her than he was at the beginning. Ma Xiaofeng was speechless, glanced at Zhao Ping. There were many people who didn't know their own status, but there was only Ma. She didn't know what kind of person she was. Did she expect any man to really like her? Ma Xiaofeng changed the topic and said, Sister Ping, your donkey didn't do well yesterday, but it's doing pretty well today. Look, we don't even need to lead it today. It knows how to run on its own. Zhao Ping nodded and said, Yeah, it's probably full from last night. My Yuanqing fed it a lot of grass. Yuanqing is still the best. The corner of Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. She really had to hand it to Qin Yuan. How could there be such a person in this world? Qin Yuan was always the one who was praising her. When the two of them arrived at Yang City, it was still early. They hurriedly set up the stall. However, it was their first time doing it, so they were a little flustered. It was not as orderly as Zhao Yiner's first time doing it. Chapter 1349. As for Zhao Ping, it would be better if she didn't help. But once she did, it would only make things worse. Seeing that Zhao Ping was clumsy and did all the work by herself, Ma Xiaofeng was annoyed. It was really a disadvantage for her to work with an idiot like Zhao Ping, because she didn't expect Zhao Yin, to do all the work. She was the only one who worked herself to death. If it weren't for the fact that Zhao Ping was the one who paid for it, she wouldn't have brought someone like Zhao Ping to play with her. Seeing that Ma Xiaofeng was busy working alone, Zhao Yiner said to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, thank you so much for your hard work. I don't know how to do anything. If I worked alone, I probably wouldn't be able to finish the work. Ma Xiaofeng's mouth twitched. Then she forced a smile and said to Zhao Ping, It's fine, Ping. If you don't know how to do it, you can learn more from me. I'm sure you'll be able to do it slowly. Ma Xiaofeng was worried that Zhao Ping wouldn't study hard and leave all the work to her. It was fine if she worked for a day or two, but if she worked like this every day, it would be terrible. Therefore, no matter what, Zhao Ping had to learn how to do work. Sure, Xiaofeng, don't worry. I'll definitely learn from you. Sure. The two of them worked for a while, and the steamed buns and shumai were ready after steaming for about 20 minutes. The food was almost ready, but time passed slowly, and no one came over. Ma Xiaofeng didn't think it was reasonable. Her steamed buns smelled so good that she was a little hungry. Ma Xiaofeng then asked Zhao Ping, Ping, why didn't anyone come to buy breakfast for us? Well, it's still early, so no one is on the street yet. Hee Xiaofeng, don't worry. There will definitely be food in a while. Let's eat first. Don't starve yourself. If there are more people later, we'll be busy. Zhao Ping said. She couldn't wait to open the steamer basket. She took out a steamed bun and stuffed it into her mouth. Ma Xiaofeng felt that what Zhao Ping said made sense, so she also took a steamed bun and began to eat. Huff, 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 it's hot. Zhao Ping blew air into her mouth, and her lips were almost scalded red. Sister Ping, these are our buns. We have a lot of them. Why are you in such a hurry? Take your time. Zhao Ping nodded. Okay, I'll eat slowly. After having a bite, Zhao Ping felt that although it tasted good, something was missing. It was far less delicious than the steamed buns made by Zhao Yin. Zhao Ping frowned while eating. After eating a steamed bun, Zhao Ping couldn't help but say to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, I don't think your steamed bun tastes good. Did you follow my mother's instructions? Why does it taste different from the steamed buns made by Yin? Hearing Zhao Ping's words, Ma Xiaofeng frowned with displeasure. She said to Zhao Ping, Sister Ping, what do you mean? Are you saying that I didn't cook it well? But I did it according to your mother's method. Don't tell me you don't believe me? Chapter 1350. Ma Xiaofeng also took a bite, and found that Zhao Ping was right. The taste was indeed a little different. She had eaten the buns made by Zhao Yin before, so she remembered the taste clearly. Ma Xiaofeng frowned and said to Zhao Ping, Ping, there's no reason. I just followed your mother's method. Then what's going on? Zhao Ping asked in confusion. Ping, is there something wrong with the method your mother taught me? No way. My mother is teaching us the same way she did for Zhao Yin'er. She can't be wrong. Zhao Ping'er also frowned. She didn't think it was possible that Ma Xiaofeng said. Ma Xiaofeng found it very strange. Then what's going on? Anyway, I just followed your mother's instructions. Well, Zhao Ping'er's heart was somewhat shaken. In the end, was her mother's teaching wrong? Or was Ma Xiaofeng's learning wrong? In any case, she didn't make it as delicious as Zhao Yin'er ate. Great. If it was still like this in the future, the taste would be a little worse than Zhao Yin'er's. She didn't know whether she could still sell it. After all, there were many breakfast stalls in Yang City. If the taste wasn't good enough, probably many people wouldn't be willing to buy it. Zhao Ping'er was worried when she left. She tasted other breakfast stalls, but she still felt that the taste was a little worse. After a while, more and more people came to the street. However, Zhao Yin'er's stall seemed to be invisible. No one came to buy it at all. Zhao Ping'er seemed very anxious. She muttered in front of Ma Xiaofeng. Xiaofeng, why didn't anyone come to buy it? What are we going to do? Our breakfast won't be sold, right? Ma Xiaofeng was worried about the same thing at this time. Not a single person came over, so today's income was zero. If they couldn't even earn a few copper coins, then what was the point of working so hard every day? Ping'er, is it because we just set up a stall and people don't know about it, so no one comes to buy it? Why don't you stand there and shout a few times? I think people will come to buy it. Ma Xiaofeng suggested. Hearing Ma Xiaofeng's words, Zhao Ping'er thought it made sense, but she felt that she couldn't shout it out. Zhao Ping, there were so many people. If she shouted, everyone would definitely look in her direction. How embarrassing would that be? After hesitating for a while, she said to Ma Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, why don't you shout a few times? I don't know what to shout. Ma Xiaofeng looked at Zhao Ping'er speechlessly. She said to Zhao Ping'er, why don't you know how to do this and that? It's fine if you leave this to me, but you can't expect me to shout, right? What's so difficult about this? Just shout at people to sell breakfast and steamed buns. Isn't that enough? Ma Xiaofeng was really angry at this time. Seeing Zhao Ping'er push everything to her, she was a little angry. Okay, Xiaofeng, don't be angry. I'll shout, okay? Seeing Ma Xiaofeng's gloomy face, Zhao Ping'er quickly said. Ma Xiaofeng didn't say a word. It seemed that she was still angry. Originally, she was depressed because of the bad business. In the end, Zhao Ping'er came to annoy her. It would be strange if she wasn't depressed. Zhao Ping'er stood in front of the stall and began to shout shamelessly. Chapter 1351. Steamed buns, shumai dumplings. Delicious and practical dumplings. Don't miss it. You'll regret it if you don't eat it. Hearing Zhao Ping'er's words, Ma Xiaofeng was displeased and snorted. This Zhao Ping'er was really something. Although she said that she did not know how to do it, wasn't she quite good at it? In the end, it was all because she was lazy. Ma Xiaofeng decided to order Zhao Ping'er around in the future. Otherwise, Zhao Ping'er wouldn't take the initiative to cook. She didn't want to suffer too much loss. After Zhao Ping'er's words, it finally worked a little. Someone stopped and walked to Zhao Ping'er's stall saying, "Give me a steamed bun and a steamed bun." Saying that, he gave the person a copper coin. Seeing that the first customer finally came, Zhao Ping'er was happy and immediately packed a steamed bun and a steamed bun for him. After the first customer left, Zhao Ping'er said to Xiaofeng with a smile, "Xiaofeng, you're right. Yelling is really useful." Ma Xiaofeng smiled and replied to Zhao Ping'er, "Of course. Ping'er, you can continue to yell. Get as many customers as you can." Zhao Ping'er was suddenly full of confidence and replied, "Sure, Xiaofeng, I'll continue to yell." Zhao Ping'er continued to yell, and several more customers came one after another. However, not many customers came, either because of the smell of the breakfast or because it was the first time they came to set up a stall. After a whole morning, there were few people on the street. The time for breakfast had long passed, so it was meaningless for them to continue to wait. However, more than half of the prepared breakfast hadn't been sold yet. Fortunately, things like steamed buns and steamed buns were wrapped before they were steamed. Otherwise, if they were brought back, They might get pregnant in this kind of weather overnight. Sister Ping I don't think anyone will come. Let's go back. Ma Xiaofeng said. The first day's business wasn't good. Morale was low. Originally, he thought that business would be booming today, but now he knew that he had thought too much. Zhao Ping sighed and replied, Well, Xiaofeng, I guess we can't wait for anyone. Let's go back. After saying that, Zhao Ping first counted the money she earned today. The total income was 67 copper coins. After deducting the costs, he estimated that he had only earned 30 copper coins. The main problem now was that the 30 copper coins he had earned were of no use at all. There were still a lot of things that had not been sold. These things that had not been sold added up to more than 30 copper coins. Hey Xiaofeng, why did you only sell so little? If you only sell so little, what should we do? Can we still make money? Zhao Ping was a little discouraged as she muttered in front of Ma Xiaofeng. Ma Xiaofeng was very upset. She was also very depressed. Zhao Ping this idiot, was still talking nonstop. Really? It's okay, Sister Ping Everything is difficult at the beginning. No one knows about us on the first day. It's normal that there is no business. It will be fine in a few days. Ma Xiaofeng comforted Zhao Ping and at the same time comforted herself. Chapter 1352. Ma Xiaofeng nodded and said, Okay, Sister Ping then I'll go back and learn from your mother. Okay. The two of them went back in a bad mood. On the way back, Zhao Ping's donkey made a fuss again. But this time, it was much better than last time. After making a fuss for a while, it started to walk slowly. It didn't run but walked. It was even slower than the ox cart. Zhao Ping and Ma Xiaofeng had been busy for the whole morning. They were already exhausted and didn't have the strength to walk. So what if the donkey was slow? At least they didn't have to walk on their own. They just had to sit in the cart. The donkey walked slowly for more than an hour before they returned to Shuilan village. Zhao Ping first sent Ma Xiaofeng home and asked Ma Xiaofeng to bring some meat buns back. The leftovers would be a waste if they couldn't finish them. They couldn't sell them if they went bad tomorrow, so they might as well eat them themselves. Sister Ping thank you. Ma Xiaofeng thanked her while holding a few meat buns. Zhao Ping waved her hand generously. It's okay, Xiaofeng. It's a waste if we can't finish them. We can eat them ourselves. Okay. Ma Xiaofeng nodded heavily. If she set up a stall in the future, it would be impossible to sell things every day. There would definitely be leftovers. If she brought back a few things every day, her family's food would improve a lot. Ma Xiaofeng thought about it and felt very happy. Zhao Ping drove the donkey cart to the third branch. When she arrived at the third branch, Zhao Yun'er was also there. Old Zhao's family members were also in the courtyard. When Feng Zhangxia saw Zhao Ping coming, she said with a strange smile, Ping girl, today is the first day you set up a stall. How is it? Is the business good? How much money did you make? The reason why she asked this was that she wanted to see a joke. When she saw Zhao Ping's expression, she knew that Zhao Ping's business must not be good today. Otherwise, Zhao Ping wouldn't have such an expression. Zhao Ping had made money, so she must be arrogant. She was afraid that others didn't know. Zhao Ping was already uncomfortable in her heart. When Feng Zhangxia asked, she felt even worse. She said to Feng Zhangxia angrily, How much money I earn is none of your business. Anyway, it's not you who earn it. Aunt, you really have a lot to worry about. I'm just casually. Ping girl, look at you. What's with your attitude? You're so rude. How can I be rude when I speak? Auntie, why don't you ask a bunch of questions first? Really? Zhao Ping replied angrily. Seeing Feng Zhangxia's gloating face, Zhao Ping was even angrier. Feng Zhangxia was probably happy that she couldn't make money. This kind of person just couldn't bear to see others doing well. Third sister-in-law, look at your family's Ping girl. You're right next to her. Look at her. It's fine if you talk to me like this. If you talk to others like this, people who don't know will think that our old Zhao's family education is like this. Feng Zhangxia hurriedly looked at Liang Jinxiao and said to Liang Jinxiao. Zhao Ping's mouth twitched. This Feng Zhangxia only knew how to complain. She was good at complaining about others. Why didn't she complain about herself? Chapter 1353. Liang Jinxiao smiled embarrassedly. Sister-in-law, please don't argue with Pinger. If she doesn't want to say it, don't ask her. It doesn't matter whether it's good or not. It's a good thing to learn how to run a business. Feng Zhangxia snorted. She knew that Liang Jinxiao disliked her for being a busybody. It's fine if you don't care. Anyway, judging from Zhao Pinger's behavior, it seemed that she didn't make any money. Thinking of this, Feng Zhangxia felt happy. Zhao Pinger is such a B***tch. It's definitely God's blessing that she didn't make any money. Zhao Pinger saw that Feng Zhangxia didn't say anything nice, so she rolled her eyes at Feng Zhangxia. She went to the room of the third branch and was about to drink some water. Seeing that there were only her own family members in the house, and that the other branches didn't like to cause trouble, Zhao Pinger said to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, do you still need to ask? They definitely didn't make much money. Liang Jinxiao frowned worriedly and couldn't help asking, why? Is it because the market is too bad? If the market wasn't good, and there weren't many people, it was normal that no one would buy a stall. Zhao Pinger said with annoyance, Mother, since I've rented a stall, I won't choose a stall with a bad market. It's better that I don't rent one. Hearing Zhao Pinger's words, Liang Jinxiao hesitated. If it wasn't because the market was bad, then what was the reason? When Zhao Yun'er opened her stall for the first time, the business was very good. Why did it have a problem when it came to Zhao Pinger's stall? Zhao Pinger pulled Liang Jinxiao a little angrily and whispered to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, there's something wrong with the method you taught me in Xiaofeng. The taste of the food is not right. No way. Mother, have you done it yourself? Liang Jinxiao replied with a guilty conscience. I haven't made the stuffing myself before, but Yun'er has done it before. I just made it according to Yun'er's style. There's nothing wrong with it. Mother, have you eaten the buns you made? Liang Jinxiao shook his head. That's not the case. Then it's settled. Mother, I think you must have done something wrong. Why don't you try it today? Liang Jinxiao responded. Zhao Pinger's business was not doing well, so she was naturally worried. He had already invested all his capital, so he couldn't possibly suffer a loss, right? Then her Pinger's life and her husband's family would be even more difficult. When the time came, she would have to ask her family for help. Zhao Yun'er heard Zhao Pinger and Liang Jinxiao whispering, but she didn't know what they were talking about. She thought it couldn't be anything good. Her mother was really too much. She couldn't have discussed something with Zhao Pinger behind her back, right? Pinger, do you want to stay at home for lunch before you go back? Liang Jinxiao asked again. Mother, of course I want to go out before I go back. She still had to wait for her mother to make the buns and taste them later. Okay, I'll prepare more for lunch. You can stay for lunch. Got it, Mother. Zhao Yun'er felt angry when she saw this scene. Zhao Pinger was married, but she still came to her mother's house from time to time. Unfortunately, her mother was like this. Zhao Pinger couldn't vent her anger on Liang Jinxiao, so she couldn't help but say, Pinger, Mother is so good to you. When you make money later, shouldn't you give Mother more money to be filial to her? Chapter 1354. Besides, I should give the money to my in-laws. If my in-laws find out that I've given money to my family, I don't know how they'll react. Of course, if they want to scold me, they'll scold me. It has nothing to do with you. Zhao Yun'er looked at Zhao Pinger speechlessly. Hearing Zhao Pinger's words, Liang Jinxiao's eyes darkened for a second, and he looked a little sad. It seemed that he was disappointed by Zhao Pinger's words. Zhao Yun'er sneered. Pinger, you're right. You know that a married daughter is like spilled water. How do you know that you don't give a single cent to your family, but you come to my family for free food? Pinger, don't you feel ashamed? Zhao Pinger was humiliated by Zhao Pinger, and her face turned red. She glared at Zhao Yun'er and said to Zhao Yun'er, You bitch, it's none of your business. I'm not eating your food. The moment Zhao Pinger finished her words, Zhao Yun'er slapped her and warned her coldly. Pinger, I told you not to call me bitch. Why don't you learn your lesson? I think you're asking for it. I'll just beat you up. Zhao Ping's face went numb all of a sudden, and Liang Jinxiao was also shocked by Zhao Yun'er's slap. Liang Jinxiao thought that Zhao Ping'er would make a scene, but to her surprise, Zhao Ping'er suddenly behaved herself. Zhao Ping'er, your family has spent a lot of money on you. Don't treat this place as a treasury after you get married. Zhao Ping'er glared at Zhao Yun'er, but didn't dare to say a word. Right at this moment, Li Chuiying's cries suddenly came from the yard. What's wrong? Liang Jinxiao murmured, then ran out in a hurry. Zhao Yun'er glanced at Zhao Ping'er, then followed her out. In the yard of old Zhao's house, Li Chuiying was crying and yelling on the ground. My God, why is my life so miserable? I can't control my man. All he knows is to go out and find another woman. Why did he have to find a widow? Sob, 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 sob. How are we going to live in the future? Oh God, why can't you do something for me? Vixen, now that you've lost your man, you only know how to seduce other men. Hearing Li Chuiying's words, Zhao Yun'er guessed that Li Chuiying must have found out about Zhao Wenshui's affair. There were so many people in the village, so there was bound to be a time when someone found out about it. In addition, there were many gossips in the village. Gradually, some rumors were spread, and Li Chuiying would eventually hear about it. Hearing Li Chuiying's roar, old Zhao's family members all came out of the house to see what was going on. Seeing Li Chuiying acting like a shrew, Hua Chunhua scolded unhappily. My dear daughter-in-law, what's wrong with you? Why are you yelling? Your father and I are not dead yet, but you're crying like a funeral. How unlucky. Feng Zhangxia gloated. Exactly, my dear daughter-in-law. Why are you yelling so loudly? If I didn't know, I would think something big had happened. Li Chuiying pulled a long face and said to Hua Chunhua, Mother, you don't know. Tianyu's father did something wrong to me. I can't cry. Chapter 1355. This second daughter-in-law of hers loved to make a scene. She must have quarreled with her second son, and was now crying and yelling. These days, it was normal for couples to quarrel. However, they usually quarreled at the head of the bed and reconciled at the end of the bed. There was no need to talk about this kind of thing in public. If other people in the village saw it, they would inevitably be laughed at. Hurry up and get up. Don't make a fuss. Don't you think it's embarrassing? Can't you talk about it properly behind closed doors? Do you have to make it known to everyone so that you'll be happy? Mother, we can't talk about this behind closed doors. I want everyone to listen and judge for me. I can't be bullied like this. This is really unfair. Li Chuiying was still sitting on the ground. She was wiping her tears as she spoke. Hua Chunhua's mouth kept twitching. This second daughter-in-law of hers was actually not listening to her words. She said to Li Chuiying angrily, Well, if you don't make it clear to me today, it won't be a big deal. You're making a fuss. Let's see how I'll deal with you. Zhao Yun'er was speechless when she saw Hua Chunhua's angry look. As expected, Hua Chunhua liked to take advantage of her son. After all, her daughter-in-law was an outsider. When something happened, the first person she would defend was her son, not her daughter-in-law. No matter whether her daughter-in-law really had some difficulties or had been wronged, she would always protect her daughter-in-law. The more she looked at this group of people in old Zhao's family, the more ironic Zhao Yun'er felt. What kind of people were they? Feng Zhangxia saw Li Chuiying's pitiful look and felt secretly pleased. She scolded Li Chuiying for asking for it. On the surface, Feng Zhangxia suppressed the joy in her heart. Feng Zhangxia said to Li Chuiying in a low voice, Sister-in-law, if you have something to say, just say it. Don't hesitate. I don't know what's going on. How can I judge for you? Li Chuiying wiped her tears. At this time, she was not in the mood to quarrel with Feng Zhangxia. Instead, she cried and complained. Mother, when I was washing clothes just now, I heard people talking about Tianyu's father and Widow Qian. I also saw Tianyu's father go in and out of Widow Qian's house several times. Mother, you don't even know how unpleasant the rumors outside are. I'm so angry. I don't even dare to step out of this house. I have no place to show my face. Hearing Li Chuiying's words, Hua Chunhua's brows suddenly knitted together. After thinking for a while, she continued to scold Li Chuiying. Second daughter-in-law, if you want to save face, Why are you shouting about this kind of thing? Are you afraid that the people in the village don't know? Do they have to believe whatever others say? You caught Tianyu going to Widow Qian's house? You have to have evidence. Don't jump to conclusions if you are not sure. If Tianyu is not like this, he will be wronged by you. At this point, Hua Chunhua still defended her son first, not Li Chuiying. In the end, he was an unreasonable person. Zhao Yin'er snorted. She felt that it was really strange. But this was Li Chuiying's business. She would just watch and not interfere. Hua Chunhua ran to Li Chuiying and pulled Li Chuiying up. Get up quickly. Don't be a disgrace. If you make a fuss, people will come and see. You don't think it's shameful, but I do. Li Chuiying was heartbroken. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.